opportunities and vibrant public spaces. A landmark city square is also being proposed as part of the station area development. Our vision is to integrate the bullet train station with the Government of India's Amrit Bharat station, the GSRTC bus depot, and the PM e-bus network into a seamless multimodal transport hub in the city of Vadodara. We're promoting mixed use and high density development around the station. With the support of Government of Gujarat, we invite developers, planners, architects, and investors from all over Gujarat and the country to come here and right here and invest in Vadodara. And I can see the friends smiling and lovely faces. We would be happy to host you in Vadodara again for that. We are promoting water security in the city with its advanced plans. We are also bringing up a closed plan of about 270 MLD of water for all this station area development so that the resources of water is also adequately matched. VMC has also planned for the development of 8 iconic roads for which we are doing a memorandum of understanding with the leading universities of Vadodara whose expertise in urban planning and public space development will be helpful for the Vadodara Municipal Corporation. These roads will improve mobility, enhance urban design, and create better public spaces. To strengthen the industrial competitiveness, since it's an industrial, vibrant Gujarat, commercial gas connections through Vadodara Gas will also be expanded to more industries under the guidance of the Honorable Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister. Our mantra remains simple: good governance, efficient municipal services, transport administration, and citizen-centric development. With further not delay, I would also like to acknowledge the contributions of the team Heritage who's been here. Sir, it is my privilege to say that Vadodara Municipal Corporation's budget is named Virasati Vikas. So, as you all know, Vadodara has the highest number of heritage structures in the country, and we eagerly wait and we are applying to the Government of India for the Creative City of Design proposal from the city of Vadodara, and also enhance the protection of heritage structures in the city. VMC has established a dedicated heritage cell to look after the conservation of heritage. The Government of Gujarat has also given the approval for the conservation committee that has been approved in the latest dates. We are committed to conserving and promoting Vadodara's rich heritage. The government has also approved the commencement of the Shivji Arati at the Sursagar Lake, an additional cultural attraction to the city. Sustainability is also Vadodara's future. When we are planning for the Viksit Bharat and Viksit Gujarat, Vadodara also aims to have a Viksit Vadodara by 2047. We are planning to develop more than 30 megawatt of green energy capacity through solar trees, solar rooftop, trees, and grid-connected canal top projects. Green public spaces are being expanded across the city under the Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam campaign, and our target is to plant 2.5 million trees in the days to come. We are also creating linear canal parks and garden developments based on the SSNL canals, for which we will be taking the support of the Honorable State Government. We are coming up with walking tracks and cycling tracks for the people of Vadodara. We are equally committed to developing sports infrastructure in Vadodara. In collaboration with Sir Dhanraj Pillai, the former Olympian and hockey captain of India, who has been associated with Vadodara in the past, we are welcoming him back to Vadodara to take sports promotion ahead in the days. High-performance athletic training centers, which will also be feeder centers for Ahmedabad's coming games, for the Olympic Games and the Commonwealth Games. Vadodara will play the feeding cadre role of sports infrastructure and sports expansion. With the closing remarks, I just want to say something very small. Vadodara is ready for its next chapter of growth. With the esteemed leadership and guidance from the Honorable Chief Minister and the Honorable Deputy Chief Minister, and with the blessings of the Union Cabinet Minister today, and the active participation from industries, citizens, and institutions, we are committed to building a resilient, sustainable, connected, inclusive, and a globally competitive city which is livable and essentially earnable for 2047. Thank you so much. Bharat Mata ki jai, jai jai Garvi Gujarat.
धन्यवाद माननीय म्युनिसिपल कमिश्नर श्री। आज के संगोष्ठी की बात को बखूबी मंच पर रखते हुए आपने बहुत ही अच्छे से स्वागत उद्बोधन निभाया। फिर से आपका धन्यवाद करते हैं श्रीमान अरुण महेश बाबू जी। हार्दिक शाब्दिक स्वागत के बाद आइए हमारे बीच सम्मान्य मंचगण का भी स्वागत सम्मान अभिवादन करते हैं। हमारे बीच पधारे हुए केंद्रीय कैबिनेट मंत्री महोदय श्रीमान मनोहर लाल खट्टर जी का स्वागत नगर निगम की टीम करेंगी। हमारे महापौर श्रीमती गीताबेन मकवाना, नगर आयुक्त श्री अरुण महेश बाबू जी, नायब महापौर श्री आदित्य भाई पटेल, अध्यक्ष स्थायी समिति श्रीमती वर्षाबेन व्यास, नेता श्री श्रीमती श्वेताबेन माछी, दंडक श्री विजय भाई चौहान, सभी से गुजारिश है हमारे बीच पधारे हुए केंद्रीय कैबिनेट मंत्री महोदय मनोहर लाल खट्टर जी का स्वागत सम्मान अभिवादन मेमेंटो से कर रहे हैं। करतल ध्वनि तो भी बनती है। साथ में सभी मंचासीन महानुभावों का भी स्वागत सम्मान अभिवादन हमारे आईसीडीएस की बहनों द्वारा हमारे बीच उपस्थित हमारे महापौर गीताबेन मकवाणा, साथ ही में हमारे मुख्य दंडक गुजरात विधानसभा श्रीमान बालकृष्ण खंडेराव शुक्ल, डॉक्टर हेमांगभाई जोशी, केवड़भाई रोकड़िया, चैतन्य भाई देसाई, अमित भाई जो अहमदाबाद से पधारे हैं, विधायक अमित भाई, कौशिक भाई, साथ ही में गांधीनगर के महापौर मीराबेन पटेल, अहमदाबाद के महापौर हितेश भाई बारोट, हमारे नगर आयुक्त म्युनिसिपल कमिश्नर श्री अरुण महेश बाबू, डेप्यूटी मेयर श्री आदित्य भाई पटेल, स्टैंडिंग चेयरमैन वर्षाबेन व्यास, नेता श्री शासक पक्ष श्वेताबेन माझी, दंडक श्री शासक पक्ष श्री विजय भाई चौहान, सभी का स्वागत सम्मान अभिवादन। साथ ही में आप जब इतने सारे हमारे सामने हो तो आप सभी का भी हार्दिक स्वागत सम्मान अभिवादन है। करतल ध्वनि से, जोरदार करतल ध्वनि होनी चाहिए भाई। धन्यवाद धन्यवाद। साथ ही में हम सभी को जिसका इंतजार है, ऐसी बहुत सी बातें हम आपके सामने रखने वाले हैं। इसके पहले आज के इस अवसर पर प्रासंगिक उद्बोधन के लिए सादर नम्र निवेदन करती हूँ हमारे महापौर श्रीमती गीताबेन मकवाणा जी से।
નમસ્કાર. મંચમાં ઉપસ્થિત મનહરભાઈ સાહેબ તથા મંચસ અંત્ય મંત્રીમંડળ અમદાવાદ તેમજ ગાંધીનગરથી ઉપસ્થિત મેયરશ્રી, મંત્રીમંડળના સદસ્યો, સાંસદ સભ્યશ્રીઓ, ધારાસભ્યશ્રીઓ, ગુજરાત સરકારના તથા વડોદરા મહાનગરપાલિકાના વરિષ્ઠ અધિકારીઓશ્રીઓ, દેશ વિદેશથી પધારેલા ઉદ્યોગપતિઓ, રોકાણકારો, નાગરિકો અને પત્રકાર મિત્રો, આદરણીય મહાનુભાવો તથા વાલા ભાઈ બહેનો, સંસ્કારી નગરી વડોદરા કલાનગરી અને ઐતિહાસિક ધરોહર સમાન આપણી ગૌરવશાળી વડોદરા નગરી વાઇબ્રન્ટ ગુજરાત પ્રાદેશિક પરિષદના આ ભવ્ય આયોજન પ્રસંગે વડોદરા નગર મહાવતી હું આપ સૌનું હૃદયપૂર્વક હાર્દિક સ્વાગત કરું છું. શ્રીમંત મહારાજા સર સયાજીરાવ ગાયકવાડના દૂરદર્શી નેતૃત્વની જે વિરાસત આપણને વારસામાં મળી છે, તેને આજે આધુનિકતાના રંગે રંગીને પ્રગતિના પંથે આગળ લઈ જવામાં આપણી વડોદરા નગરી સદાય અગ્રેસર રહી છે. આજે આપણા માટે અત્યંત ગૌરવની ક્ષણ છે કે આજે ગુજરાતનું વડોદરા મહાનગરપાલિકાએ તાજેતરમાં વર્ષોમાં શહેરી વિકાસ અને પર્યાવરણલક્ષી પ્રોજેક્ટ્સમાં અનેક નવીન પહેલ કરેલી છે, જેમાં એશિયાના પ્રથમ વૈશ્વિક પ્રામાણિક મ્યુનિસિપલ ગ્રીન બોન્ડ અને બ્લુ બોન્ડ તથા આદરણીય વડાપ્રધાન શ્રી નરેન્દ્રભાઈ મોદી સાહેબના માર્ગદર્શન હેઠળ વડોદરા નગરને મળેલ PM બસ સેવા, આ સાથે શહેરમાં આઇકોનિક રોડ્સ, વિકસાવીને ઇન્ફ્રાસ્ટ્રક્ચરનો સમાવેશ થાય છે. આ પરિષદના માધ્યમથી હું અહીં ઉપસ્થિત તમામ ડેવલપર્સ, પ્લાન્સ અને ઉદ્યોગ સાહસિકોને વડોદરાની આ ભવ્યલક્ષી વિકાસ યાત્રામાં ભાગીદાર બનવા માટે હાર્દિક આમંત્રણ આપું છું. વાઇબ્રન્ટ ગુજરાત માત્ર એક રોકાણ સમિટ નથી, પરંતુ ગુજરાતના સર્વાંગી વિકાસ, નવીનતા અને વૈશ્વિક ભાગીદારીનું પ્રતીક છે. ગુજરાતને ઉદ્યોગ, વેપાર, કૃષિ, શિક્ષણ, ટેકનોલોજી અને ઇન્ફ્રાસ્ટ્રક્ચરનો ક્ષેત્રમાં દેશને નવી દિશા બતાવી છે. ભારત માતા કી જય. વંદે માતરમ.
प्रासंगिक उद्बोधन हमारे नवनियुक्त महापौर श्रीमती गीताबेन मकवाना के द्वारा हम सभी को प्रदान किया गया. हम धन्यवाद अदा करते हैं और हमारे लिए बहुत ही खुशी की ये क्षण है जो हम सब सुविदित है कि 2025-26 अर्बन डेवलपमेंट वर्ष के तौर पर मनाया गया, जिसके वडोदरा नगर निगम द्वारा ऐतिहासिक उपलब्धियां प्राप्त की गई है. इसकी झलक प्रतिकृति दर्शाती हुई अर्बन डेवलपमेंट अचीवमेंट की एक टेबल बुक का विमोचन हमारे केंद्रीय कैबिनेट मंत्री महोदय श्रीमान मनोहर लाल खट्टर जी एवं सभी मंचासीन महानुभाव को विनती करते हैं ये कॉफी टेबल बुक के विमोचन के लिए आगे आए. हमारे केंद्रीय कैबिनेट मंत्री महोदय श्रीमान मनोहर लाल खट्टर जी के कर कमलों से ये बुक का विमोचन हो रहा है. साथ में सब मंचासीन महानुभाव भी जुड़े हैं. एक बार कर्ता ध्वनि से ये क्षण को साथ ही में मनोहर लाल जी और सभी मंचासीन महानुभावों से एक बार फिर से गुजारिश करती हूँ, हेरिटेज ऑफ वडोदरा की कॉफी टेबल पुस्तक का भी विमोचन आपके कर कमलों से वडोदरा विकास की ओर आगे बढ़ रहा है. हम सभी के लिए यह बहुत प्रतीक्षित क्षण है. सभी के लिए गौरव का ये पल है. साथ में बुलाना चाहूंगी हमारे समीर खैरा जी को, जो कि हमारे प्रेसिडेंट हेरिटेज ऑफ वडोदरा ट्रस्ट के हैं, साथ में जुड़ेंगे. सर आप प्लीज कम ऑन द स्टेज. सभी के लिए गौरव का क्षण. हम सब ये क्षण के साक्षी बने हुए हैं. वडोदरा की समृद्ध सांस्कृतिक, ऐतिहासिक एवं स्थापत्य विरासत को सुंदर चित्रों एवं रोचक विवरणों के माध्यम से यह पुस्तक में प्रस्तुत किया गया है. यह पुस्तक वडोदरा हेरिटेज ट्रस्ट एवं वडोदरा नगर निगम के संयुक्त साहस से तैयार की गया है. आइए तालियों के गुंजारों के साथ हेरिटेज ऑफ वडोदरा कॉफी टेबल पुस्तक विमोचन. साथ में सिटी लॉजिस्टिक प्लान ऑफ वडोदरा का उद्देश्य शहर में माल के सुरक्षित, तेज और व्यवस्थित परिवहन को सुनिश्चित करना है, ताकि ट्रैफिक जाम कम हो, प्रदूषण घटे और उद्योग तथा व्यापार को बेहतर सुविधा मिल सके. यह योजना गुजरात सरकार की एकीकृत लॉजिस्टिक नीति और शहरी परिवहन सुधारों के अनुरूप तैयार की गई है. वडोदरा के महापौर श्रीमती गीताबेन मकवाना, प्रभारी सचिव और उद्योग आयुक्त पी स्वरूप सर और नगर आयुक्त श्री अरुण महेश बाबू जुड़ेंगे. साथ में अहमदाबाद के महापौर श्री हितेश भाई बारोट, नगर नायब आयुक्त श्री दिनेश रमेश गुरव, गांधीनगर के महापौर श्रीमती मीराबेन पटेल, नगर आयुक्त श्री जेएस प्रजापति सर बारी बारी से जुड़ेंगे। अहमदाबाद के महापौर श्री हितेश भाई बारोट, नगर नायब आयुक्त श्री दिनेश रमेश गुरव जुड़ेंगे। सिटी लॉजिस्टिक प्लान ऑफ अहमदाबाद के लिए ये पुस्तक का भी विमोचन हमारे मनोहर लाल जी और सभी मंचासीन महानुभावों के कर कमलों से हो रहा है। एक बार जोरदार तालियां होनी चाहिए भाई। गांधीनगर के महापौर श्रीमती मीराबेन पटेल, नगर आयुक्त श्री जेएस प्रजापति आईएएस जुड़ेंगे सिटी लॉजिस्टिक प्लान ऑफ गांधीनगर के लिए। धन्यवाद मनोहर लाल जी और सभी मंचासीन सम्मान्य मंचगण। और मैं अभी बुलाना चाहूंगी मेघना सोनी को एमओयूज का सेक्शन संभालने के लिए।
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very, very warm welcome to this vibrant regional conference 2026 here in vibrant city of Vadodara. It's absolutely a pleasure and an honor to welcome all the dignitaries, guests, representatives from government, industry leaders, members of academia, urban planners, professional delegates, and each one of you for joining us this afternoon. For over 2 decades, Vibrant Gujarat has stood as a catalyst for investment, innovation, and collaborative growth. It has demonstrated how visionary leadership, progressive policies, and meaningful partnership can drive sustainable development and position Gujarat as a preferred destination for enterprise and opportunity. Today, the same spirit is being carried forward through the Vibrant Gujarat Regional Conference, recognizing that the journey towards Viksit Gujarat and Viksit Bharat 2047 is strengthened when the growth is inclusive, regionally balanced, and locally empowered. The Central Government edition brings together government, industry, and all the institutions on a common platform to exchange ideas, forge partnerships, and collectively shape the next chapter of development for the region. Over this course of conference, ideas will translate into partnership, conversations into collaboration, and vision into action. So, ladies and gentlemen, we now commence the Memorandum of Understanding signing ceremony. The agreements we are about to witness represent far more than formal partnership. They embody a shared commitment of innovation, sustainable urban development, institutional collaboration, bringing together government, academia to contribute for a more vibrant, future-ready Vadodara. So let's proceed for the first MOU signing, and in the presence of our Honorable Union Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs of India, may I please call upon The first MOU is between Dhanraj Pillai Sports Academy and VMC to promote national sports, the hockey as our national sport and fitness in Vadodara. So, ladies and gentlemen, with a huge round of applause, may I please call upon Dhanraj Sir, Honorary Director, who is also going to be an Honorary Director for VSPF, VMC Sports Promotion Foundation, and I also request Shri Arun Mahesh Babu, IAS Municipal Commissioner, Vadodara, to join us for this special MOU. Ladies and gentlemen, can we hear a huge round of applause for this? Congratulations for this brighter and better Gujarat. And now moving ahead to our second MOU, which is the Memorandum of Understanding between Vadodara Municipal Corporation and Navrachna University, which is going to mark a significant step towards collaborative urban development through creation of iconic public spaces, creative urban environments, and people-centric infrastructure that reflects the aspiration of a progressive and vibrant Vadodara. Ladies and gentlemen, may I again request Shri Arun Mahesh Babu, IAS Municipal Commissioner, to do the honors. Joining us is a woman who has taken one institution and transformed it into an entire ecosystem of learning. Chairperson of Navrachna Education Society, Board of Management, Srimati Tejal Ben Amin. Can we have a huge round of applause for her? May I please request her to join us for signing of the MOU. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for them? Going further, the third Memorandum of Understanding is between Vadodara Municipal Corporation and Parul University. Continuing this spirit of collaboration, we now move to this partnership which brings together the Municipal Corporation and University of which is one of the most youngest university to receive NAAC A++ accreditation. This collaboration envisions the integration of artificial intelligence, robotics, development of logistic infrastructure, enhancement of public spaces, creation of iconic urban corridors. And the most important highlight of this partnership is also opening a coach museum to the public. So ladies and gentlemen, may I have the honor of inviting Shri Akshay Badania Sir and Shri Rituraj Sir, Deputy Municipal Commissioner, Vadodara, to please join on this stage, and I have the privilege of inviting Dr. Geetika Madan Patel, Vice President, Quality Research and Health Sciences, co-founder of Parul University and Medical Director of Parul Group of Hospital, to grace the stage. Welcome, ma'am. Can we have a huge round of applause for them, please? Going on to a fourth Memorandum of Understanding between Vadodara Municipal Corporation and Maharaja Sayajirao University of Vadodara. Our final Memorandum of Understanding, which shows a legacy of art, culture and education. And this legacy joined hands with us today to strengthen city's cultural landscape through thoughtful urban development and creative public spaces. May I now have the honor of inviting Shri V.M. Rajput Sir, Deputy Municipal Commissioner, to kindly come forward to represent Vadodara Municipal Corporation. And may I also request Professor K.M. Chidasama, Registrar, the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Vadodara, to kindly grace the stage for this MOU. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for this? This absolutely reflects a shared vision of ensuring that Vadodara continues to grow as a modern urban center. It also preserves and celebrates cultural heritage that has always been defining strength. And ladies and gentlemen, now we shall witness another landmark initiative, the handover of the letter of award for the development and implementation of Gujarat Logistic Dashboard by Gujarat Infrastructure Development Board and its acceptance by National Industrial Corridor Development Corporation Limited and NICDC Logistic Data Services Limited. The Gujarat Logistic Dashboard will serve as a unified digital platform integrating logistic-related data from multiple departments and stakeholders by enabling real-time visibility, data sharing, performance monitoring, and informed decision-making. May I request Sri Swaroop P. IS Chief Executive Officer of GIDB and Nimit Patel, GM GIDB, to exchange the letter of award, and Sri Rajiv Jain, Advisor, NICDC, along with Sri Takayuki Kanu, Chief Executive Officer, NLDSL, to exchange the letter of acceptance. Ladies and gentlemen, let's acknowledge these transformative initiatives with a warm round of applause. Thank you to all the dignitaries. May I please call upon Dipti Madam for the further proceedings.
थैंक यू मेघना जी, जिन्होंने अपना पूरा जीवन लोक सेवा और जनहित में बिताया है। 2014 से 24 तक हरियाणा के मुख्यमंत्री का पदभार संभाला है। ऐसे हमारे केंद्रीय मंत्रालय के वरिष्ठ नेता और वर्तमान में शहरी विकास एवं शहरी गृह निर्माण एवं विद्युत प्रभाग को संभाले हुए ऐसे हमारे केंद्रीय कैबिनेट मंत्री महोदय श्रीमान मनोहर लाल जी से गुजारिश है, आप पधारें और हम सभी का मार्गदर्शन एवं आपका प्रेरक उद्बोधन प्रदान करें। बहुत सारी तालियों के साथ सादर आमंत्रित करते हैं केंद्रीय कैबिनेट मंत्री महोदय मनोहर लाल जी को।
डॉक्टर हेमंत भाई जोशी जी, मेंबर पार्लियामेंट, हमारे यहाँ की गुजरात सरकार की मंत्री श्रीमती मनीषा बहन वकील, सभी विधायकगण, बड़ौदा के महापौर, उप महापौर, अन्य सभी अधिकारीगण, देवियों सज्जनों, सबसे पहले तो मैं आज गुजरात सरकार के इस उद्यम को और जिन्होंने इसका आयोजन किया, हमारे हरियाणा सरकार, गुजरात सरकार और गुजरात सरकार के सभी अधिकारीगण, जिन्होंने इस वाइब्रेंट गुजरात का ये रीजनल लेवल का चौथा ये कार्यक्रम, इसकी बहुत बहुत बधाई और शुभकामना देता हूं। मित्रों, आज प्रातःकाल वाइब्रेंट गुजरात इनॉग्रेशन सेशन के मंच पर बहुत सी चर्चाएं हुई। उसमें इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर लेड इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ, इसका जो एक व्यापक दृष्टिकोण उस समय साझा किया गया, उसमें मुझे भी अवसर मिला। सबने उस समय चर्चा की कि आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी, उन्हीं के नेतृत्व में जब यहाँ ये मुख्यमंत्री वो थे, 2003 से वाइब्रेंट गुजरात का ये क्रम शुरू हुआ था और बड़ी मात्रा में स्वदेश के भी विदेश के भी लोगों ने, निवेशकों ने या निवेश किया और लाखों करोड़ का निवेश का एमओयूज हर बार होते रहे हैं और गुजरात की गति उसी समय से एक निश्चित दिशा में, डेवलपमेंट की दिशा में आगे बढ़ी है। बहुत से कार्य हुए, उसमें विशेष तौर पर कनेक्टिविटी अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण ये अंग है हमारे समाज जीवन का, और उसमें भी वर्ल्ड लेवल की कनेक्टिविटी के जितने भी साधन वो हम लगातार करते आए हैं। कनेक्टिविटी केवल किसी दो शहरों को जोड़ने की या किसी व्यक्ति के ट्रांसपोर्ट ट्रैवलिंग के साधन ऐसा नहीं है, बल्कि इस कनेक्टिविटी के साथ हमारी जो इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ, हमारा आर्थिक विकास, ये भी जुड़ा है। क्योंकि जो भी इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर बनते हैं उसके साथ उद्योग भी आता है, लोगों को रोजगार मिलता है, प्रदेशों की, देश की आर्थिक स्थिति बढ़ती है। तो इस नाते से ये जो कनेक्टिविटी है ये उभर करके नए हमारे जो आर्थिक केंद्र हैं भारत सरकार के, प्रदेश सरकारों के, वो बन करके आए हैं। मित्रों, इस इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का केवल लेंथ वाइज महत्व नहीं है, बल्कि इसकी क्वालिटी, गुणवत्ता और इसकी ड्यूरेबिलिटी ये कितनी हो उस पर भी बहुत कुछ निर्भर करता है। पिछले 12 वर्षों में हम देख रहे हैं कि देश भर में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर बहुत ही ध्यान दिया गया है। कोई एक प्रकार का नहीं, चाहे रोड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हो, रेलवे हो, मेट्रो हो, एयर हो, शिप्स हो, अथवा जितने भी प्रकार के उपयोग हम कर सकते हैं उन सब पर लॉजिस्टिक्स के नाते, अर्बन डेवलपमेंट के नाते एक कोऑर्डिनेटेड एफर्ट करके और इस काम को आगे जोड़ा गया है। इन परियोजनाओं की गति तो बढ़ती ही है जब विचार करते हैं, साथ में नई टेक्नोलॉजी के कारण से उसकी कॉस्ट भी कम आती है और उसमें नई नई टेक्नोलॉजी ये भी जुड़ती है, राज्यों का भी विकास होता है। इस क्रम में यदि मैं अर्बन डेवलपमेंट मिनिस्ट्री के नाते से बात करता हूं तो मेट्रो की बात जरूर करूंगा, क्योंकि मेट्रो अपने देश में 2004 से ही प्रारंभ हुआ और उस समय बहुत से देश मेट्रो में अपने अपने यहाँ विकास कर रहे थे, चला रहे थे। भारतवर्ष में पहला मेट्रो 2000 चलने के बाद आज 22 वर्ष के अंदर हम कह सकते हैं कि हम वर्ल्ड के तीसरे स्थान पर पहुंच गए हैं। आज हमारी मेट्रो की कुल लंबाई 1155 किलोमीटर हो गई है जो वर्किंग में है और एक 900 किलोमीटर अंडर पाइपलाइन है। और मेरा विश्वास है कि आने वाले 2029-30 तक ये 2000 किलोमीटर की मेट्रो जब हो जाएगी तो हमारा स्थान वर्ल्ड में तीसरा नहीं बल्कि दूसरा हो जाएगा, हम यूएसए को भी पार कर जाएंगे। तो मित्रों, आज मेट्रो के साथ साथ आरआरटीएस, ये भी वंदे भारत और नमो ट्रेन्स ये भी विकसित हो रही हैं। पहला कॉरिडोर दिल्ली से मेरठ तक का जो बाय रोड 3-3 घंटे लगते थे, आज 55 मिनट्स में और दिल्ली से मेरठ का जो है ट्रेवल ये पूरा कर लेते हैं लोग। इसी प्रकार के और 6 कॉरिडोर आरआरटीएस के अभी दिल्ली से ही उनका जो एक प्रकार से अप्रूवल किया गया है। अन्य प्रदेशों में भी आरआरटीएस बहुत जल्दी एक हाई स्पीड लोकल ट्रेन जिसको कहना चाहिए रैपिड रेल ट्रांसपोर्ट सर्विस, इसकी एक प्रारंभ ये होने वाला है। इसी में अगले जो बहुत जल्दी 2 ट्रैक हैं, दिल्ली से निमराना और दिल्ली से करनाल, इस नेटवर्क को भी क्लियर करके और इस पर काम शुरू होगा। आज हम उससे अगले चरण में प्रवेश कर रहे हैं और वह है हाई स्पीड रेल, जिसका विचार करके आज का ये जो सेशन रखा गया है इसके ऊपर भी आज हम विचार कर रहे हैं कि इस पर भी हम जो मुंबई अहमदाबाद हाई स्पीड रेल कॉरिडोर के रूप में एक ऐतिहासिक कदम हमने उठाया है, उस पर बहुत शीघ्र और हमें सफलता मिलने वाली है कि हम अपना रोजगार, कारोबार, उद्योग, निवेश सब लाने वाले हैं। अपने देश के अलावा भी दुनिया के बहुत देश ऐसे हैं जिन्होंने इस प्रकार के हाई स्पीड रेल कॉरिडोर बनाए हैं। उनकी प्रगति पिछले 50-60 वर्ष के अंदर कई गुना बढ़ी है। उदाहरण के लिए 1964 में जापान ने शिंकानसेन इसकी शुरुआत की थी और ये केवल पहली बुलेट ट्रेन नहीं थी बल्कि उसने टोक्यो और ओसाका के बीच पूरा औद्योगिक क्षेत्र, एक नई ऊर्जा ये इस प्रकार से प्रदान की थी जापान को। ऐसे ही फ्रांस की एक ट्रेन है टीवीजी ट्रेन लियोन जैसे शहरों को नई ऊंचाई इस ट्रेन ने दी है। चीन में भी सुजो, हांगजो और वुहान ऐसे शहरों में हाई स्पीड रेल के माध्यम से उसका उद्योग, निवेश और नवाचार बहुत बड़ा रोल चीन की प्रगति में हुआ है। तो आज हम भारत के अंदर हाई स्पीड रेल का ये जो एक प्रोजेक्ट जिसके बारे में आज हम विचार कर रहे हैं, इसमें अच्छे इंजीनियरिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स इसको अपनाया जा रहा है। अत्याधुनिक निर्माण तकनीक, कौशल विकास, इंडिजिनस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग तथा भविष्य के लिए आवश्यक संस्थागत क्षमता का निर्माण इससे हो रहा है, ताकि इसको रेप्लिकेट करके अन्य रेल कॉरिडोर भी और आगे चल करके बनेंगे। 250 किलोमीटर प्रति घंटा की स्पीड से ये जो कॉरिडोर है देश के प्रमुख आर्थिक और सांस्कृतिक केंद्रों को आपस में जोड़ेंगे। भारत की भविष्य के परिवहन आवश्यकताएं इस पूरा करने के लिए एक मजबूत आधार इससे बनेगा। अभी यूनियन बजट 2026-27 में 4000 किलोमीटर लंबे 7 नए हाई स्पीड रेल कॉरिडोर इसकी घोषणा की गई है। तो इस नाते से देश के कोने कोने में ऐसे हाई स्पीड रेल कॉरिडोर बनने से जो कई कई घंटे यानी कभी तो 2-2, 3-3 दिन का जो रेल मार्ग है उसको मात्र 10 घंटे में, 12 घंटे में, 15 घंटे में पूरा करने का और ये रेल कॉरिडोर का हमको ये लाभ होने वाला है। तो मित्रों, इस रेल कॉरिडोर के माध्यम से जो आसपास के शहर हैं उन सब में भी विकास होगा, उद्योग और आर्थिक गतिविधियां इससे आगे जुड़ेंगी, लगेंगी। और केवल रेल कॉरिडोर से ही काम नहीं चलता, बल्कि रेल कॉरिडोर के साथ साथ लगने वाले जो शहर हैं उनका विकास, अन्य तरह की जितनी फैसिलिटीज ईज ऑफ लिविंग की रहती हैं वो भी सुनिश्चित करनी होती हैं, तभी उसका लाभ मिलता है। इस नाते भी पिछले साल बजट में घोषणा की गई थी एक अर्बन चैलेंज फंड, 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए का अर्बन चैलेंज फंड भारत सरकार ने, प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने उसकी घोषणा कराई थी। और 1 लाख करोड़ चैलेंज फंड के साथ 3 लाख करोड़ रुपया और अतिरिक्त उसमें जोड़ा जाएगा। कुल 4 लाख करोड़ रुपए की और उद्योग प्रोजेक्ट्स ऐसे देश भर में ये सब बनाए जाएंगे। और इसमें प्रसन्नता है मुझे, गुजरात को अर्बन चैलेंज फंड के माध्यम से 6475 करोड़ का जो केंद्रीय सहयोग मिलेगा, जिसमें से कुल 25,900 करोड़ के प्रोजेक्ट, 25,900 करोड़ रुपए के प्रोजेक्ट ये गुजरात के लिए उसमें तय किए गए हैं। तो ऐसा आज हम यहाँ जो बैठे हैं वडोदरा में, जहाँ हाई स्पीड रेल कॉरिडोर के महत्व की हम चर्चा कर रहे हैं, इस बात की चर्चा करना भी उचित होगा कि वडोदरा केवल हाई स्पीड रेल कॉरिडोर का स्टेशन नहीं, बल्कि पश्चिम भारत का सबसे महत्वपूर्ण औद्योगिक और शहरी केंद्र ये बनने की क्षमता रखता है, बनने जा रहा है। इसलिए वडोदरा के लोगों को इसके लिए मैं बहुत बहुत बधाई और बहुत बहुत शुभकामना देता हूँ। वडोदरा में जहाँ वुडा यानी वडोदरा अर्बन डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी रिंग रोड, हाई स्पीड रेल तथा अन्य आधुनिक जो हमारी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की जितने भी प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, इनको मिलाकर वडोदरा मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, लॉजिस्टिक्स, सर्विसेज और इनोवेशन का एक सशक्त केंद्र ये बनेगा, ऐसा सबका विश्वास है। आज ही प्रातःकाल जैसे बताया गया कि वडोदरा में 250 ई बसेस इसको देने का भी जो कार्य प्रारंभ किया है, जिसमें 30 बसों का आज हरी झंडी दिखा कर चलाया गया है और बहुत जल्दी बाकी बसें भी यहाँ आने वाली हैं। देश भर में पॉल्यूशन की जो समस्या उसको खत्म करने के लिए ई बसेस का जो प्रचलन किया गया, उसमें पहले चरण में 10,000 ई बसेस ये सैंक्शन की गई हैं और 10,000 की जो डिमांड है वो पूरी करने के बाद और अतिरिक्त डिमांड भी प्रदेशों से आ रही है। अगले चरण में 20 से 25,000 बसेस इसका बेड़ा ई बसेस का और योजना बनने वाली है, ताकि हम इस प्रदूषण जैसी समस्या से भी एक प्रकार से लड़ाई लड़ सकें और हमारा एनवायरमेंटल जो विषय है उसको भी हम साध सकें। इसके साथ ही वडोदरा के बारे में जो हमको जानकारी मिली है कि 8 आइकॉनिक सड़कें, उनका विकास और उसमें भी जो शहरी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का आधुनिक तौर का होगा, वडोदरा की कनेक्टिविटी और शहरी पहचान उससे भी मजबूत होगी। सबसे बड़ी बात, वडोदरा अपनी समृद्ध विरासत और सांस्कृतिक पहचान इसको संरक्षित रखते हुए आधुनिक, टिकाऊ और भविष्य के लिए तैयार शहर के रूप में निरंतर आगे बढ़ता रहेगा, ऐसा आज के इस कार्यक्रम के बाद हम निश्चित रूप से कह सकते हैं। मुझे ये भी जानकर खुशी हुई है कि वडोदरा म्यूनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशन जलापूर्ति, सीवरेज, ग्रीन मोबिलिटी साइकिल ट्रैक्स, रूफटॉप सोलर, कैनाल टॉप सोलर और एक पेड़ माँ के नाम जैसे अभियानों के माध्यम से शहर की प्रगति को और आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं। तो मैं वडोदरा के म्यूनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशन के हमारे कमिश्नर हैं, मेयर हैं अथवा अन्य सब अधिकारी हैं, उनको भी बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूँ। मित्रों, पूरा जो उद्योग जगत है उसको मैं आह्वान करता हूँ कि आगामी जितने भी हाई स्पीड रेल कॉरिडोर्स ये प्रस्तावित हैं देश भर में, इन सब कॉरिडोर्स के अलोंग हमको होटल्स, कमर्शियल सेंटर्स, इंटीग्रेटेड टाउनशिप्स, अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग, हेल्थ केयर, एजुकेशन, कन्वोकेशन सेंटर्स, इनोवेशन डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स, इसमें भी हमको अपनी भागीदारी ये जो करनी चाहिए। हमारी भागीदारी से न केवल एक शहर, न केवल एक राज्य, पूरे देश का लाभ होता है, क्योंकि देश को हमें 2047 तक विकसित भारत यदि बनाना है तो एक एक शहर को विकसित करना होगा, एक एक प्रदेश को विकसित करना होगा, तभी जाके विकसित भारत की जो हमारी कल्पना है ये पूरी हो पाएगी। तो इस नाते से मैं आपको निवेदन करूंगा कि हम सब आइए मिलकर इस परिवर्तन के सहभागी बन जाएं और सरकारी नीति और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के माध्यम से अपने इस दायित्व को निभाएं। आज जिन भी एंटरप्रेन्योर्स ने अपने MOU किए हैं इन्वेस्टमेंट के नाते, निवेश के नाते, बहुत जल्दी, क्योंकि यहाँ की सरकार प्रोएक्टिव होकर के उनका सबका सहयोग करती है, ऐसी मेरी जानकारी है। एक मुझे घटना याद है कि 2003 में जब सबसे पहला वाइब्रेंट गुजरात यहाँ हुआ था, उस समय अपने ही प्रदेश के भुज के एक किसी एंटरप्रेन्योर ने, किसी इन्वेस्टर ने एक MOU कर लिया और ये मान करके कि MOU तो होते ही रहते हैं, MOU कौन सा बाइंडिंग है। लेकिन प्रदेश सरकार, मोदी जी की जो योजनाएं थी, हर एक MOU होने वाले एक प्रोजेक्ट के लिए किसी एक अधिकारी को साथ लगा देते थे उसी समय। और जिस अधिकारी को साथ लगाया उन्होंने संपर्क किया भुज में जाकर के कि आप कल MOU करके आए थे और लाइए, आप ये फार्म भरिए और आप अपनी योजना बताइए, क्या आपकी योजना है और सरकार से क्या अपेक्षा है, हम ये करेंगे और कोई अपेक्षा तो करिए। और वो व्यक्ति भौचक्का रह गया कि मैं तो एक ऐसी MOU करके आया था, 4-6 महीने बाद फिर जाके मिलेंगे, देखेंगे, ये तो आज ही आ गए। और उन्होंने 3 महीने के अंदर अंदर उस MOU को मैच्योर करवाया और उस प्रोजेक्ट को लगाया गया। ये घटना 2003 की है। तो इस नाते से अपनी यहाँ की गुजरात सरकार प्रोएक्टिव होकर के ऐसे सब MOUs के ऊपर काम करती है। आज भी जो मुझे जानकारी मिली है कि पिछले तीनों जो रीजनल जो हमारे वाइब्रेंट गुजरात के कार्यक्रम हुए हैं और आज चौथा ये हो रहा है, चारों में मिलाकर लगभग 15 लाख करोड़ रुपए के MOU होने वाले हैं। और इस 15 लाख करोड़ के तो रीजनल हुए हैं, फाइनल जब जनवरी 2027 में गांधीनगर में ये जो होगा वाइब्रेंट गुजरात, उसके अंदर भी लगभग 30 से 35 लाख करोड़ रुपए के MOU होने की संभावना है। तो ऐसे एक ही वर्ष में, क्योंकि इस बार पहली बार रीजनल ये किए गए हैं, पहले कभी होते नहीं थे, लेकिन रीजनल जो है उसकी तैयारी के लिए, पूर्व तैयारी के लिए हो रहा है। तो इस नाते से सब मिलाकर 50 लाख करोड़ रुपए के MOU गुजरात सरकार के साथ एंटरप्रेन्योर्स कर रहे हैं। तो मेरा पूरा विश्वास है ये सब मैच्योर होंगे और गुजरात सरकार किसी भी प्रकार की कोई कमी नहीं आने देगी, ऐसा मान के चलता हूँ। इसके अंदर एक बात और जरूर जोड़ूंगा कि अगला ओलंपिक जो है वो गुजरात में होने वाला है 2036 में। उसकी पूर्व तैयारी कॉमनवेल्थ के रूप में 2030 होने वाला है। तो जहाँ जहाँ ओलंपिक होता है उससे पहले कॉमनवेल्थ होता है। तो ये कॉमनवेल्थ और ओलंपिक ये एक बहुत बड़ा अवसर है यहाँ के निवेशकों के लिए, देश भर के खेल प्रेमियों के लिए। और इसमें दुनिया में हमारा खेलों में जो नाम बढ़ रहा है उसमें इस कॉमनवेल्थ का, ओलंपिक का बहुत बड़ा नाम होगा। गुजरात के लोग उसके अंदर पूरा अपना सहयोग करेंगे, उनको पूरा अवसर मिलेगा। तो ऐसे लगातार गुजरात देश के सब मॉडल्स के ऊपर भारी मॉडल पड़ता है, तो इस मॉडल को बना करके रखें। आप सबका सहयोग अपेक्षित है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत आभार।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मनोहर लाल जी। हम सभी को आज के इस अवसर पर प्रेरक उद्बोधन एवं मार्गदर्शन प्रदान करने के लिए फिर से हम आपका शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं। सभी का आभार व्यक्त करते हैं जो कि हमारे बीच मंचासीन है, ऐसे सभी सम्मानीय मंचगण का भी आभार व्यक्त करते हैं। इस सभागार में उपस्थित सभी सम्मानीय महानुभावों का भी आभार व्यक्त करते हैं और प्रिंट मीडिया, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मीडिया का भी आभार व्यक्त करते हुए आज की इस संगोष्ठी का प्रथम चरण यहाँ पर समाप्त करते हैं। आप सभी से गुजारिश है आप अपना स्थान बनाए रखेंगे। थोड़ी ही देर में हमारा द्वितीय चरण शुरू करने जा रहे हैं। इसके लिए मैं सादर आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगी मेघना सोनी को, जो कंडक्ट करेगी हमारा टेक्निकल सेशन। आई वुड लाइक टू रिक्वेस्ट मेघना सोनी टू कंडक्ट द टेक्निकल सेशन। धन्यवाद।
Ladies and gentlemen, may I please request you to stay seated? We are going to just start this technical session in a bit. Requesting everyone to be seated.
વીએમસીના બધા અધિકારી અને કર્મચારીગણ અહીંયા જ ઉપસ્થિત રહેશે. આપણે સેમિનાર છે, સેમિનાર 1 અને સેમિનાર 2, એ પહેલાં કોઈને જવાનું નથી. તમામને અહીંયા જ ઉપસ્થિતિ રાખવાની છે. તમામ એચઓડી ઇન્શ્યોર કરશે.
વડોદરા મહાનગરપાલિકાના તમામ કર્મચારીઓ પોતાનું સ્થાન ગ્રહણ કરી રાખે. હવે આપણે ટૂંક જ સમયમાં સેકન્ડ સેશન ચાલુ કરીએ છીએ અને તમામ એચઓડી શ્રી પણ પ્લીઝ એન્શ્યોર કરે કે આપણા કોઈ પણ કર્મચારીઓ પોતાનું સ્થાન છોડે નહીં. આ ખાલી આપણા પ્રોગ્રામનું પ્રથમ ચરણ પૂર્ણ થયેલ છે. હજી બીજું ચરણ ટૂંક જ સમયમાં આપણે શરૂ કરીએ છીએ. ધન્યવાદ.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to move to our first thematic panel discussion this afternoon. Again, requesting everyone to please be seated. Requesting all the dignitaries, all respected ladies and gentlemen to please be seated for the upcoming panel discussion. It's going to be one of its kind thematic discussion, the Mumbai-Ahmedabad High-Speed Rail Corridor, which represents one of the India's most transformative infrastructure initiatives. Beyond redefining mobility, it has the potential to reshape regional economies, strengthen industrial ecosystems, attract investments, and encourage planned urbanization and accelerate sustainable development. It is with the vision that we present this panel discussion, so requesting everyone to please be seated. In a very short while, we are going to start with this thematic panel discussion. Panel discussion on macro and regional perspective on high-speed rail corridor as a catalyst for economic growth and regional development. Ladies and gentlemen, again requesting each and every one to please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, we are just about to begin this panel discussion. Again, a humble request for everyone to please be seated. A very important session is about to begin. Macro and regional perspective on high-speed rail corridor as a catalyst for economic growth and regional development. Requesting each and everyone to please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to begin in another 5 minutes, requesting each and every one to kindly take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all ready and set to start our first thematic panel discussion of the afternoon. The Mumbai-Ahmedabad High-Speed Rail Corridor, which represents one of India's most transformative infrastructure initiatives. And for this, we have the panel discussion on macro and regional perspective on high-speed rail corridor as a catalyst for economic growth and regional development. And to chair this important session, may I have the honor of inviting Shri Arun Mahesh Babu, IAS Municipal Commissioner, Vadodara, to kindly grace the stage for the welcome address. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause? May I now invite Mr. Harpal Dave, Additional Chief Town Planner, who would be moderating today's discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Harpal Dave with a huge round of applause, please. And now, all the speakers for this first panel. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to call upon Srimati Rini, IRTS Senior Divisional Operational Manager, Western Railway. She has 10 years of experience in railway operations, business development, and infrastructure planning. Can we have a huge round of applause for her, please? May I please call upon Kazuki Yoshisuka, Expert Project Smart, GICA. Mr. Kazuki is an urban development expert associated with the Project Smart of the Japan International Cooperation Agency. He works for advancing sustainable development through integrated land use and transport planning, transit-oriented development, and urban regeneration. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have on the stage, please, a huge round of applause for him. May I now invite Mr. Prateek Sinha, Senior Manager, HSR Corridor, Larsen & Toubro. Mr. Prateek is a transformation and infrastructure professional with 14 years of experience in planning, construction, and quality management for major infrastructure projects, including highways, expressways, metros, dedicated freight corridors, and much more. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for him, please. Now may I please call upon Professor Shivanand Swami, Executive Director, Center of Excellence in Urban Transport, CET. Professor Swami is an economics and urban and regional planner with extensive experience in transport system, integrated land use, transport planning, development management, and much more. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for Mr. Professor Swami. Now it's my honor to call upon Professor Nandini Kannan, Director, Office of Corporate Affairs, Maharaja Sanayaji Rao University of Vadodara. Ms. Kannan is an academic leader with over 30 years of experience in higher education and more than a decade in leadership, education reform, and institution building. As Director, Office of Corporate Affairs at Maharaja Sayaji Rao University, she leads an initiative that strengthens industry, academic collaboration, skill development, and youth employability. A huge round of applause for her, please. May I please call upon Professor Jignesh Mehta, co-founder HUE Design and Planning Studio. Professor Mehta is a senior consultant and team leader at CUPP with over 23 years of international experience in urban planning, urban design across India, the USA, Dubai, Bhutan. His expertise includes development plans, master plans, local area plans, TOD, development regulations, and much more. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for him, please. It's an honor to invite Mr. Sameer Sinha, the founder and managing director of Savi Group, which has developed over 55 million square feet of residential, commercial, and sports infrastructure projects across Gujarat and Maharashtra, including Kenswell Golf and Country Club, as the largest developer in the gift city. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for him, please. Now, may I please call upon Mr. Yaso Izumi, Expert Project Smart Zika. Mr. Izumi is a global business and development consultant with over 40 years of international experience in private sector development, project finance, trade and investment, and public-private partnerships. Currently an executive consultant on Oriental Consultant Global. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause, please. Now, may I please call upon Mr. Andres Pizarro, Manager, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Mr. Pizarro is currently the Manager of Public Sector Clients Department, Region 1 for South Asia, South Asia Pacific, and Sub-Saharan African at the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. And we have him with a huge round of applause. Can we have Mr. Andrew Pizarro? These two would be joining online for us, Mr. Izumi and Mr. Pizarro. To co-chair, may I please call upon the DRM, Mr. Raju Bhadkeji, on the stage, please. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have a huge round of applause? One more time, can we have a huge round of applause for all the esteemed panelists? And now, as the panel has assembled, may I request Mr. Harpal Dave to kindly take over the proceedings. Over to you, sir.
Hello. Thank you very much. I have a small presentation. Maybe I'll make it from there just to set the context. Niket, can that be loaded? Yes, thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you very much, respected chair. We can begin the session. And I'll be making a small presentation regarding the Mumbai-Ahmedabad High-Speed Railway project, popularly known as the bullet train project in India. So, as we know, the two important centers which this train is connecting is Mumbai and Ahmedabad, two economically important centers of the country. It is also connecting to other important cities on the way. One is Surat, second is Vadodara. The entire distance is 508 kilometers in running length, and the operating speed of the HSR is 320 kilometers per hour, and it will significantly shrink the time for travel between Mumbai and Ahmedabad to 2 hours and 7 minutes. And it is a great, benefit. It's a great benefit. In planning, we say that the speed of travel determines the speed of development. So whenever there is a high-speed travel coming in, we can be sure that the speed of development will also be triggered. The implementation of this project, the construction of the viaduct, the mobilization of the rolling stock, that is being done by the National High-Speed Rail Corporation Limited, NHSRCL. We have some officials today present here from NHSRCL. It's a jointly owned company by the Government of India, Government of Gujarat, and Government of Maharashtra. It is expected that the HSR will be operational sometime by the end of next year. At least the trial run should begin. The overall alignment, we can see there are 12 stations starting from Mumbai, Bandra Kurla complex. The second is Thane, third is Virar, fourth is Boisar. From there onwards north, the train enters Gujarat, and we have Vapi, Bilimura, Surat, Bharuch, Baroda. Then we have a station at Nadiyad. Then two stations in Ahmedabad, one is Kalupur, second is Sabarmati. So this is the overall alignment. In Gujarat, we have 3 brownfield stations. Baroda is, as we are aware, it is a brownfield station, which means the station is coming up in an existing development area. And there are 5 stations which are greenfield: Surat, Bharuch, Bilimora, Vapi, Nadia. These are all greenfield stations. We do anticipate, as the Honorable Minister was mentioning, when there is a high-speed railway coming up, we anticipate that it will stimulate the urban and regional growth. The cities have a unique opportunity of creating integrated transit-oriented urban centers. The HSR is also expected to trigger economic activities nearby. So industrial investments, investment in startups, tech hubs, and all variety of uses that we can think of now. And many such uses which we are not able to comprehend or anticipate as on day, but they may come up in future with the passage of time. And along with the urban influence area, there is a concept on the economic influence zone. Izumi-san, who has joined from Tokyo, he will be speaking on the economic influence zone. Now, economic influence means whichever locations you are able to travel from the station within 1 hour of travel time, those areas will have an economic transformative impact. And a well-structured station area master plan, a well-structured regional plan can help us immensely in leveraging the benefit of the HSR. I'll run this through very quickly in maybe 2 or 3 minutes. So wherever the station is located in the city, we have 2 concentric zones. The immediate zone, which is normally known as Area 2, this is as per the Japanese way of understanding the station area. The Area 1 is the station itself. Area 2 is the area nearby the station, the contiguous area. Area 3 is at a distance of about 1 kilometer, and then you have the economic influence zone. As we discussed, whenever there is a HSR coming, there is a trigger for development. Therefore, we must anticipate in advance and start working for them. On the right side, we are seeing images of a station called Shinagawa. It's one of the finest examples of brownfield redevelopment, which has relevance for the city of Baroda, where there are existing areas which are developed for high density and good quality urban growth. This is another station, Osaka. My colleague and friend Mr. Yoshioka was in Osaka yesterday, and he very kindly came to India on a very short notice. Osaka is a city in Japan, as we are aware. This is a station in Osaka. Looks quite similar to any Indian city. And in 1983, this was the situation of the Osaka station. Then the HSR was introduced to a nearby distance, and they started developing, or redeveloping rather, the area with a strategic plan. So there were tracks on the grade, on the ground level at grade, and they were acting as a barrier. So they started, while they took this project for redevelopment, they took these railway tracks below ground, and it was acting as a barrier. There was a division between the city in 2 parts, east and west. There were capacity constraints. There were increased footfall because of the HSR, but the area was not conducive to high density development. So this development was taken up. The area was broken into various sectors, A, B, C, D, and phase-wise plans were prepared. This is how the area was taken up. They have taken up LR, which is known as land readjustment. It is similar to TP scheme that we practice here in Gujarat. So they created a east-west road. So the barrier was broken. East-west connectivity was created. The station building was redeveloped. The tracks, which were existing on the ground, they were moved underground so that there is flat terrain available for a fresh development. This is the picture of satellite image of January 2015. And this is how the area is developing. The area is still under development. This is February 2009. Redevelopment work was completed in phase 1. And we can see area getting redeveloped. The earlier station, which was similar to quite many stations here in India, now that area has transformed. And this is the kind of development which has happened. So these are glimpses of what can happen. Given an opportunity and given proper strategic planning, if we take up, this is something what can be the future of many of the Indian cities, including Baroda. This is the kind of urban infrastructure which has been created, where there were tracks once upon a time and where there were divisions on the ground. This is the kind of building, and with the use of FSI, this is how they have come. And some of the interiors of the malls and the commercial spaces. And many of the residents who were living in that area, they were shifted to one residential apartment. We can see one owner's tower. Now, they were actually all the residents living in small houses in that area. They were relocated to such towers. So these are the glimpses. This is something that we can think about for our cities. This is another station called Shibuya, one of the finest stations of, and this is the railway network of HSR in Japan. It started in 1964, Shinkansen. Now more than 20 cities are connected with about 2,700 kilometers of running length, and that is the kind of network they have. This is the network we have planned for Gujarat, and we have immense opportunity of doing something here. So just to set the context, how the HSR will impact the city and region, what are the areas that it will cover? The panel can discuss on the economic aspects, on the aspects of tourism, on the aspects of regional accessibility, real estate development, economic diversification, and such connected areas. So with that, I'll end here, and thank you very much.
Hello. Thank you, Harpalji. I think before we start the session, it's been a pleasure to have all the esteemed panelists on stage. On a very short notice, I'm extremely grateful for all the great planners who have taken lead in coming to Vadodara, as well as on a short notice coming and gracing us so that you can also help us guide, plan, and take Vadodara to the next level. It's been a pleasure to have all of you on stage. And before I hand over to the mic to Harpalji, I also have our friends from Japan and our architects, our planners, the builders, the investors. So we've called such kind of panelists where right from planning to execution, to curation and remodeling can be taken up. And we also have the DRM joining us so that he's a joint stakeholder in the area development. And we have all the esteemed guests from the Railway Authority also. So right from planning, development, execution and curation. So that is how the panel is composed. I would just not take much time. I will speak only the last. I will just hand over the mic to Harpalji. I expect a very sensitive, sensible and a contributory session ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So after that setting of context, Vadodara being an important railway junction, my question to Rini Madam would be, how do we leverage the strategic location of Vadodara, and how do we connect the conventional railway and the railway network nearby Vadodara to other centers of the state, and thereby leveraging the impact of HSR? What are the strategies we can adopt? Rini Madam.
So, when we talk about Indian Railways and how it integrates with the high speed, I'll start with the very basic that the high speed station at Vadodara is just next to the Indian Railway station, and we are going to have a common platform also. I mean, the high speed is in the second floor and the railways is going to be on the ground floor. So for the commuters, the communication is going to be very easy. The transition is going to be very easy. But when we talk about, going to a major infrastructure cooperation between railways, railways, high speed, and to other modes of transportation, I would say that in future we'll need to have a corridor link which connects high speed railways, airports, metro systems, the logistics hubs, digital ticketing, tourism circuits also, and emphasizing on the clean energy transport as well, so that this railway projects becomes a national mobility system. And then we move to the India's and particularly Gujarat's and Vadodara's economic transformation. Since we were talking about Viksit Bharat 2047, the emphasis is on more infrastructure, and now we need to move on to the better connected infrastructure, and that is where both railways and high speed will come into picture. I was looking at some statistics of Tokyo and Osaka that had high speed train not been there, the load on these major cities would have been 6% and 4% more of what it is. And that is what it is going to be here also. For example, when we talk about the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, say Nadiad, Anand and Bharuch, Vadodara also being a tier 2 city, the load on the mega cities needs to be justified by projects like high speed and give more chances to the local communities also. Vadodara being a major infrastructure and manufacturing hub, it is going to, give a boost to the infrastructure, to the machinery parts also. And the people can be located where they can commute very easily, since the transit is just for 2 hours from Ahmedabad to Mumbai. So that is a thing. And yeah, so when we look at the statistics of the GDP, India is no longer a marginal tourism market for Japan now. The Japanese have already been coming here doing the Buddhist circuits and all. And India has also registered some 10 to 15% growth in Japanese tourism now. So this is the time that we talk about the high-speed airport and metro and regional railways integration. Yeah.
No, very well put. And one of the important statistics in Japan, which is worth noticing, is that once the high-speed railway is operational, within the limit of 500 kilometers, 90% of air travel, it shifts to high-speed railway. And then high-speed railway does not operate in isolation, as we are aware. It operates within a system of the larger public transport the facilities. And that brings to my next question to Professor Shivanand Swamy about how to actually build such high quality integration of various modes of transport, which actually supplements each other and complements each other. And the experience of any business traveler or a tourist is of a high end. And how do we do it actually? Okay, there is also a presentation by Professor Shivanand Swamy. Aniket, can you loud? So would you like to speak from here? Or you can speak from there also.
Yep. I think that's a very interesting question that you are asking. When you build a high-speed rail, you are actually bringing cities closer. When we complete this Ahmedabad to Mumbai high-speed rail, both Ahmedabad, Mumbai will be closer, as well as Vadodara, Anand, Nadiad. All of these cities will actually become closer in the travel time perspective. The benefits is going to be of enormous in dimension. It will be effectively expands the labor market. It will expand the market access, facilitates knowledge spillover, promotes specialization, and then stimulates station area development. But then when you build an HSR of this kind, the benefits cannot be limited only to these 5, 6, 7 cities. They need to be spread across different regions within each of these cities, because if you look at Vadodara, you have many more places in and around, like you have GIDC, you have Savli, you have Halol, Kalol, Anand, Nadiad, okay, and then you also have Dholera, which is going to be developed as a, airport and many more things there. Therefore, how do we connect these places? How do we improve connectivity to in and around the sub-region is one important thing which I would like to highlight. And therefore, we need to think of an Vadodara sub-regional mobility strategy. Likewise, we need to think of Nadiad, Anand, how do we improve connectivity between those cities? I think that is one important thing which needs to be done if we want economic development and the benefits of HSR to spread to all of these cities as well as to the areas around. I think that's number one. Likewise, I believe HSR connects cities to cities, but then what happens within the cities? How do I reach this HSR station is the number two part of it there. Therefore, you need a good public transport system, a network, so that it becomes integrated, like you talk about rail, you talk about HSR, you talk about maybe a light rail or a BRTS. I think that's going to be critical. And some time back we had done some exercise for Ahmedabad for VRT, and that's something which I believe should be re-looked at. Unless people reach these HSR stations from wherever they are, I think the benefits again are not going to be fully exploited there. I understand, and today PM e-bus 250 buses have been inaugurated. I think that's a big thing which has happened now. But then when do we reach from 250 to 1,000 for a city of this size is very critical. And I think that's the gap which you need to fill in maybe in the next 3-4 years, from 250 to 1,000 buses. And then think of something more rapid transit, whether it's bus-based or a light rail, whatever we looked at it. I think that would be the kind of thing we talk about. Then when we look at this whole 4 or 5 different systems, you have GSRTC, you have maybe RRTS or Namo Metro to, let's say, Dholera, okay, and then city within city, like Metro or BRT, and then the city bus, and then the HSR, and then railways and airport. All of them, how do we connect them? There are 5 dimensions there. One is a physical integration, operational integration, information integration, fare integration, and then to bind them all together, you need to have an institutional integration. Whether you have an AMTA or you have, I think, municipal corporation, like Surat did a lot of work just as a municipal corporation. I think if that is done, then you have not one multimodal hub, but multiple multimodal hubs. One is where you have HSR, railway, GSRTC, and city bus. But then many more outside the city, so that GSRTC buses need not enter into the city. I think urban and regional bifurcation would also be very critical there. I think these are some thoughts. The final point is also how do we redevelop the station area itself. It's not going to be an easy task there. It's an insert into the city, and therefore that entire area, a TOD, if we have to develop, that's going to be a lot of redevelopment work, which is going to be a challenge. I think if we do that well and connect all multiple modes to bring people to these places, I think that would benefit the city and the city region, and therefore the entire states of Gujarat and Maharashtra. That's it. Thank you.
Very well put, sir. Especially the 5 aspects of integration. How do we actually integrate the various modes of transport? So with that integration and with the integration of railways and a good quality public transport system, how does that create an economic impact, not only in the city, but also in the region? So if Izumi-san is with us from Tokyo, Izumi-san, are we audible? Can you hear us?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, great.
We can.
Lovely. So, Izumi-san, can you throw some light upon the economic transformation that the high-speed railway has brought, especially in the areas near about Tokyo and the important centers? I believe the distance between Tokyo and Osaka is equal to the distance between Mumbai and Ahmedabad, which is about 500 kilometers.
Exactly. That's indeed.
So it's a similar case. And how has that transformation, brought about? How it was seen in that context? If you can throw some light on that, please.
Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for this great honor to be here and to participate. And just going to follow up with a previous speaker, talking about sort of a regional context, not only sort of our railway stations. So just like to draw a new concept called what I call EI zone, economic influence zone. How it's affected, how it's influencing, interacting with each other, not only the high-speed rail station, but also the regions. So as we know, this is the general approach is what I would like to appeal to you is, in fact, we want to make an integrated approach is very much needed. So there's a high-speed rail station area, and EI zone is highly regarded as a strategic regional development model. This is something which I'd like to introduce you and to introduce Hamamatsu is one of the cities in between Tokyo and Osaka. So first of all, EI zone, what it is. This is what you call a HS station, and also we have a so-called station area core zone, about so-called TOD zone, you may call it. It's about 800 meter diameter. from the to and HL station, whereas about 15-kilometer radius, I call it EI zone, economic influence zone, which may be suitable and which are actually placing many factories, logistics centers, and education facilities such as universities, research and development centers, and so on, and also, of course, historical, I would say, heritage, or maybe around there also. But furthermore, I introduced an extended EI zone as a sort of 150 kilometers radius from the station, which may serve as a sort of a influence zone, particularly applicable for tourism. Now we're talking about this is also three definitions that are very simply classified. So a stationary accord zone, I call it, in fact, 800 radius from the to and the station, you may call it TOD zone. Also EI zone, economic influence zone, about 50 kilometers. That is approximately, if I call it, 1 hour sort of achievable range by the car within from and to the station, so that many business people or cultural people or sort of educations may take place. And extended EI zone, which I sort of explained, just about more suitable for tourism-oriented travelers. But when you talk about Vadodara station area and its industry, just a quick review, this is something you know much more than I know that. So station area core zone, you have many sort of already key features, such as multimodal interchanges, commercial real estate facilities, or hotels and business areas, and so on. And also in terms of economic influence zone, within the 50 kilometers range, you have many GIDCs, or in some different wide variety of industries, such as petrochemicals, chemicals, engineering, and so on. And also you have also transport and logistics, such as Western DFC has been about to finish, NHA, National Highway 48, and other sort of logistic parks, and so on. And of course, we shouldn't forget educational and R&D centers, starting with the MSc University and other sort of facilities over there. And further extended EI zone, also we have also tourism and cultural catchment area, we can call it. So these are sort of our fragments. And if you can draw some sort of interesting sort of a circle centered around from the HSR station Vadodara, and the outer circle is indicating 50 kilometers range from the station. So within, you have so many GIDCs, other industrial parks, and the universities, research and development centers, and the sort of facilities. So the key question is, as previous speaker and the previous speaker has mentioned, how they can be integratedly or sort of holistically approachable and integrated. This is the key question. And if, of course, as you know, the high-speed rail, MAHSR, they are dealing with only, I would say, passenger travels. So in case of this DFC, they instead, together with NH48, they carry logistic, they carry on the logistic part, so merchandise and goods and service, goods and so are transported through DFC, which enormous impact on the region, but at the same time, Vadodara for this HSR for passengers. So now talking about Hamamatsu, it's a city located, in fact, in between Tokyo and Osaka, just halfway from Tokyo and Osaka. In fact, so that's why I'd like to talk about Hamamatsu and its EI zone as a sort of a case study applicable to be applied in sort of maybe Vadodara, first of all, and then maybe Surat to some extent. This is a case of the EI zone. In fact, since Japan is a much smaller country than yours, India, so I draw the circle with a 30 kilometers range from the Hamamatsu HSR station at the central bottom, yellow and black. So HSR station, you have sort of major, I put some of the logo of the companies located nearby the station, and also EI zone. The stations, not only the station area, but also EI zone areas of the establishments. Starting from Suzuki, of course, as you may know, this is a home ground of the Maruti Suzuki, is one of the parent company, Suzuki Motors. Their headquarters is located in Hamamatsu, very close to the station. And also you may know the sort of Yamaha, I talk about Honda towards the northeastern edge. of this EI zone. So Honda factory is over there, and also the Yamaha nearby. And also you may find also another purple logo Yamaha is a kind of a different industry, kind of piano manufacturer. It's a kind of global piano manufacturer, also based in Hamamatsu. Together with the Kawai, this is another second largest piano manufacturer in Japan. So these are sort of, I would say, music industry, or musical industry, and also automotive industries are sort of very flourished in Hamamatsu, before and in fact after the opening of the HSR in 1964. And also you may know, to the western side, you have a big lake, also Hamanako we call it. So this is very known for the Mikabe oranges, part of the orange, tangerine oranges, that's what Japanese prefer. And also they are cultivating many eels, unagi eels, which we call it. We love, most of the Japanese like sort of as a dining sort of having. And on the further eastern side, we have also tea plantations. So there are sort of wide variety of industries already located in Hamamatsu area and taking advantage of this manufacturing industries as well as agriculture industry and so on. And I shouldn't forget nearby the station, nearby the home ground of the headquarters of the Suzuki, there is a Hamamatsu Castle, one of the traditional castles built in the 15th century and 16th century, sorry, and lasted as so long history of supporting sort of Tokugawa government, shogunate. By knowing those sort of what are the sort of kind of support policies, strategies that have been taken to promote Hamamatsu. So first of all, EI Zone created Hamamatsu Station. So there are many sort of industry park, logistics, tourist attractions, blah, 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 universities and so on. And furthermore, if I talk about starting from the HSR station, Hamamatsu, so they have understood, sort of facilitated the Hamamatsu city government, municipal government, they're facilitating EI Zone to create MICE facilities station from, or just Acto City, that's the name of this building set up here that you can see the photo, close to the station. HSR station is written in the pink bar at the bottom right, where the sort of central circle side is a sort of again sort of approaching gates and the square, and to the right, to the eastern side, you can see, so that you can see the sort of these facilities to facilitate the business travelers, cultural travelers, so visiting Hamamatsu, to enjoy their meetings, conferences, and other things. So now talking about central government support, policy support by the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Transport, or Ministry of Culture and Education, that's quite natural. And talking about the local governments, Shizuoka Prefecture is the name of the state around Shizuoka Hamamatsu. They support the promotion of regional economic driving projects. Particularly, they focused on very sort of highlighted green transformation by taking advantage of these sort of already well-established industries, but also toward the green development and economic development, green economic development. Furthermore, they created as a sort of PPP, Public-Private Partnership Collaborative Arms, called HAI, Hamamatsu Agency for Innovation. So it's a kind of creation by the new industries, organized by the PPP initiative, with the different sort of public governments and private sector companies. Okay. And next one, sort of private sector also participated very clearly and also proactively for regional development. First one is musical instruments. So musical instruments industries, as I mentioned, like Yamaha or Kawai, and also even if you like a synthesizer music, Roland is another Japanese company, so located nearby Hamamatsu. So these musical industry have supported well the sort of local development, economic industry, local musical industry development. So they have done, for instance, revitalizing regional through music and the tourism. So Yamaha, Kawai, Roland, the City of Music initiative, they have taken very strongly together with Hamamatsu City and Shizuoka Prefecture. And also we shouldn't forget automotive industry or mobility industry, like Suzuki, Honda, Yamaha. They have made a sort of lots of collaboration with the local industries, particularly focusing on local MSMEs, as you know, so they need lots of supporting industries. So with those companies, small SMEs, and also the Yamaha, Suzuki, and Honda, they have worked closely in supporting those sort of businesses as well. So finally, we shouldn't forget agricultural and the fishery industries. They are very much supported for this mandarin for branding. And also the sort of high quality EU meals have been also created with the initiative of the private sector, agriculture and fishery cooperatives and so on. So these are some of the efforts which have been taken by the part of the Hamamatsu as a case study. So how do we understand this strategic impact of this Vadodara for each zone area? So starting from Japan, it's a Tokaido corridor, it's a Shinkansen corridor, including Hamamatsu, connecting between Tokyo and Osaka, about 530 kilometers away. They are also supported by Shinkansen itself, high-speed rail, but also collecting freight railways, as well as expressways, and also ports. They are sort of nearby as well. And in terms of the development, I would say, if you talk about the impact of the Shinkansen in Hamamatsu area, we can call it, it was opened in 1964, but 60 years later, for example, if you talk about GRDP, gross regional development products, it was more than sort of 16 times around here. And also talking about manufacturing outputs, it's over at 11 times. A number of students, again inviting many universities, starting from 2 universities to, by 2024, it grew up to 16 universities around the Hamamatsu area. So actually also tourists, they grew almost 5.8 times, about 6 times before and after the opening of the HSR. So there are many sort of impact we can facilitate, we can see it in the case of Hamamatsu. How about the case of the Vadodara, the Gujarat corridor? So ranging from, of course, Mumbai to Sabarmati, 12 stations, where in Gujarati Pipe, Vadodara sits in the middle of the sort of central part of this corridor of the HSR. So talking about, I have made a sort of a personal estimate, don't take it for as official, but of course we can expect similar sort of expansion of the Vadodara area, also the Gujarat area for this production, GRDP, population, university, and others. So there are many ways that we can expect, but how can we reach that kind of things? So it's why I talk about the way forward. As a way forward, I talk about, so this is the beyond sort of high-speed rail, as we already started to discuss. It's not only building the next, it's rather building the next generation for economic regions. So it's a kind of a catalytic load that MHSR should play for the industrial growth, urban transformation, and job creation. So in fact, this again for integrated and regional development, for high-speed rail together with the station area, and also don't forget EI zone, to do this sort of close coordination. I suppose, for instance, that this Gujarati high-speed railway Station Area Planning Authority, GHSRS APA, may play an important role, I suppose. And together with this, I hope each municipality, city governments, as well as adjacent or municipalities belonging to, so inside the EI zone, should coordinate together for the further development of the future. Okay, thank you. Thank you, that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Izumi-san, for a very comprehensive presentation. Interestingly, the city of Hamamatsu has signed a sister city agreement with the city of Ahmedabad last year. The Honorable Mayor of Hamamatsu had visited Ahmedabad, and the Honorable Mayors of both the cities had signed, and in the presence of the Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat. So, and many of the industrial products which we saw from Hamamatsu are household names here in Gujarat. So very interesting presentations. Izumi-san, thank you so much for that. That brings us to the next question to Mr. Andres Pizarro, who has joined in online. He is from the Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank. So Mr. Andres, as we saw the presentation for how transformation has happened in case of the Shinkansen between Osaka to Tokyo, what are similar experiences and how economic diversification has happened, especially in high-speed railway in China or any other global examples that you may want to highlight?
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me to this important event. I'd like to highlight, first of all, the mechanisms. Although some of the previous speakers have mentioned them, I think it's important to highlight them again. So first of all, the impact of high-speed rail is that around high-speed rail stations, there is, as one speaker said, a dramatic drop in the travel distance between origins and destinations, and therefore a reduction of distances. Therefore, firms that locate near high-speed rail are nearer their supply markets and their sales markets, and therefore their overall costs are reduced. Secondly, the workforce at which they can try to tap into becomes larger in terms of distance, and therefore also they can have a higher variety of workforce, and therefore overall their profits will grow, and this is the mechanism of the economic growth that HSR can provoke. At the same time, if we look at it from the workforce point of view, or people in general, people will be closer also to firms and, let's say, urban facilities, and therefore there'll be a raise in their welfare, and also higher access to opportunities, and thus a raise in labor productivity. Okay, these are the mechanisms, and as a result, there's a agglomeration effect. So firms and people will tend to move towards where stations, high-speed rail exist. And so if you look at this from a regional or a spatial point of view, we'll end up with agglomerations in places and a siphon effect in other cities that either are, let's say, secondary cities or do not have access to high-speed rail. And that what may happen, if you look at this at the regional level, is some inequality spatially. So what are the policies that have been applied in different countries to try to, let's say, make the most of the effects of high-speed rail, essentially the agglomeration effects? First of all, as you know, agglomeration effects can be positive and negative, as I just said. The positive ones I've just discussed. The negative ones have to do with congestion, with the size of cities that are not manageable. And therefore, the first type of policy that has to be put in place are to reduce the negative effects of agglomeration. That's one, and that has to do with managing congestion, managing, let's say, investing in services that can cater for growth in population, etc. If we look at this from the point of view of maximizing the effects of high-speed rail, the whole point of the effect of high-speed rail is providing a reduced travel time door to door. So there is a necessity of infrastructure and services that provide the last mile connectivity, like public transport, increased road infrastructure, so that that effectively is the door-to-door travel time that's reduced and not station to station. This is fundamental in any accompanying policy. In terms of, let's say, more macro policies, the siphon effect can be quite detrimental. That is, that talents, firms from smaller cities are siphoned to the agglomerated cities, and therefore there's a set of policies that has to be put in place in those smaller cities that tends to attract, or at least help fix talent and firms that are appropriate, or that can appropriately work in smaller cities. For instance, smaller cities won't be able to compete with headquarters or great large financial centers that will locate in the agglomerated cities, but they may be able to attract back office type activities, functions that need not a face-to-face meetings in a regular manner. For instance, data center, logistic hubs, research and development, or specialized niche manufacturing. So it's important to think of the policies in these smaller centers that can fix firms and people so they're not all siphoned to the agglomeration. This can be done by different incentives, tax, etc. Now, what's important to do is that this is not done, that each of these centers start competing with each other. So it has to be in a coordinated manner, maybe by an agglomeration institution, as a previous speaker mentioned, but at least to have a regional planning outlook and realize that the effect of HSR will be in general positive, but will be unequal, is to cater for the inequality that may result from agglomeration versus smaller centers or smaller cities. China, as you know, is the largest developed high-speed rail in recent times. China has constructed 50,000 kilometer high-speed rail, which is more than the total of the rest of the world. But China is a very particular country in which movement between provinces is not completely free. In China, you have a system, it's called the hukou, which is essentially you have your social welfare benefits linked to the province where you were born or where you reside, and you can't move residence unless you can have that hukou changed. And this is very, very difficult. So therefore, high-speed rail in China has not suffered as much as other places of this agglomeration and siphon effect. In Europe, this has not been the case, and countries like France, for example, suffer from, let's say, smaller cities and countryside that are completely been siphoned away from Paris, which is maybe around 30% of the population. In Spain, it's similar. You have three major cities like Madrid, Barcelona, and Seville, and the rest is fairly empty. So this may not be the case in India, which has a higher population, a higher density, but it's at least policies that have to be thought of to mitigate this effect. I think I'll leave it there leave time for the next panelist. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Andres. You brought out very importantly the impacts of agglomeration, both the positives and the negatives. And that brings us to the next question to Professor Nandini Kanan, who is Director of the Economic Department in MSU. About, given this background, madam, of how the economic transformation happened in Hamamatsu and in Tokyo and what Mr. Andres spoke about in other parts of the world, how do we see Baroda's economy actually transforming, and with the opening up and with the integration of the economy of Surat, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, how do we foresee Baroda's economic transformation?
Good afternoon, everybody. At the outset, thank you for having me over at this very, very important panel discussion, which is possibly going to shape the future of Vadodara in a very significant way. Like the earlier panelists were mentioning, there is so much that will happen in due course. But, you know, if you look at Vadodara as a city, what comes to your mind first is Vadodara, Sanskari Nagari. Vadodara, the city of culture and heritage, a legacy. Of course, instantly after that, you look at it as an education hub. We look at Vadodara as a city with a very, very strong industrial base, with all the petrochemicals, the pharmaceuticals, the IT, and the other manufacturing, engineering, precision companies, and so on. But having said that, there is a phrase that says, if you do not ride over the wave of change, you may be beneath it. So let's look at it holistically and see what can be done, how we stand. This is a very ideal situation for us to leverage on the opportunities for economic growth. It may probably redefine the future of Vadodara. And as you very rightly said, Ahmedabad, Vadodara, Surat being seen as one economic corridor due to the fast pace, due to the high-speed rail corridor, it is actually going to change things so immensely that the way work happens will transform. But we need to look at it from a perspective of different stakeholders and see what can be done to get the best out of it. Certainly, it's going to make a huge difference. But what I suggest is, or what I think about is, that the government, the Vadodara Municipal Corporation, the VUDA, from your side, what you have to do, how do you have to, particularly VMC having to run it, has to drive it. And then we have the industries who will actually be able to give us the possible requirements, the type of organization, the type of work. Like, for example, the kind of work that is going to get impacted because of the HSRC. Tourism, education, healthcare, IT, ITES, you name it, it is there. Engineering, every one of this. The city with its more than 11 industrial estates around it has immense potential to create new job roles. All of it cannot be centered around the station. The impact has to be spread. So, but for that, a lot of planning is required. So the education sector, particularly being from the education sector, I'd like to make a point here, that when the National Education Policy was designed, Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji made it a point to take the opinion of more than 2 to 3 lakh stakeholders before designing it. So in this case also, I just feel that as a city which has such a rich culture, will it be possible for us to actually sit down and plan with probably a council or forming a council where we have education sector on one side, actually designing the kind of city that we want, where we have a dualistic characteristic, retaining its cultural beauty, at the same time allowing for the high-speed economic activities to flourish. For example, I'm just envisioning the portion between Sayajiganj and railway station having co-worker space and things like that, where the youth work. So many of these other facilities, of course. The same way, industries coming up with the requirements, the educational sector designing the certificate courses and various things. Some of the things that you're talking about at the convention center, we have a very big campus in the university. The Maharaja Sayajirao University has 272 acres of land. Which part of it can be used for these kind of things, and which part has to be in hardcore engineering manufacturing? This needs to be decided sitting across the table, and we make a perspective plan that is for the next 20 years or so, the next 2-3 decades or so. Then possibly we will be able to leverage on this and ensure that growth happens in an immense way. Well, one last thing I'd like to mention is no growth can be justified without it reaching every segment of the society. It has to reach every strata of society. There are various economists like Theodore Schultz and Gary Becker. We talk about how investment in people is very necessary, in skills, in education, and all of that. So no amount of material change will really matter unless it touches every member of society. That's something I would like to stress upon. So economic growth for sure, but with a stress on another PPP model, not the usual public-private partnership. Let's talk about investing in people, productivity, and progress. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam, for a very insightful talk on the economic development. And indeed, all development should reach all the strata of society to make it inclusive. What I also like, madam, is that you touched upon culture of Baroda, and that while the economic development takes place, the culture also should get enriched and it should be retained. So that brings me to a question for Professor Jignesh Mehta, who is an urban designer, that when we plan for the station area for Baroda, the immediate surroundings, and as Mr. Andres was speaking about, not station to station, but door-to-door connectivity, how do we actually plan good quality urban design for good commuter experience and making it very efficient? At the same time, making it unique for Vadodara without focusing and enriching the culture of Vadodara. How do we do that?
So first of all, thank you for having me here, and I think it's amazing dialogue that we are having. Very important question, and specifically from the urban design and urban planning perspective. I think when we are talking about economic growth and development and the economic impact in the entire region, we should also not forget the immediate areas around the station. A lot of times, when I've been working across the world, one of the things that I've seen is that a lot of times we focus on the areas far out, but the immediate areas next to the station gets left out. And it creates a kind of donut situation. So I think one of the first things is that we need to really think about how do we develop this whole area as a transit-oriented and not just transit-adjacent development. And this is where the whole issue of connectivity also comes in. So the connectivity, just in the surrounding area first itself, as my previous speakers also mentioned, that within the first 800 meters, within the first walkable distances, what kind of development do we have there? And this is where there are this kind of 3 Ds of transit-orientedness is also very critical that we need to think about. One is the density. And when we say density, it's not just only about the FSI or FAR, but also about serving that density through improved transportation network, through improved infrastructure, through improved green and blue network, so that that whole density is served well. So that is the first D. The second D is about diversity. Now this is where we need to bring the diversity of mixes, and this is not only about the land use mix, but also about the economic mix. So that is the second D that we really need to think about, and how do we develop with that density and diversity. And then the third D is the design. Now this is where the whole placemaking aspect comes in. This is where the design of the road network, design of the streets, and then also the design of the built form that comes in. And creating a place out of this new destination that we are making. This is where also we need to really connect with the local culture and local economy. Now, Vadodara, being this whole cultural hub, and as Dr. Kamini also mentioned, Dr. Nandini also mentioned, that you have this amazing cultural asset sitting right in the heart of the city. Can we and how do we really connect that whole city central area, Mandvi and the other areas, also with the station? And now this is where public transport and the connectivity with public transport, so that the old city also becomes the destination. So if someone is coming from Mumbai, someone is coming from Ahmedabad, they can also very easily get to this core city, the hub of Vadodara, and that also benefits from that connectivity. So these are the kind of key things that we really need to think about. And I think one of the key things that I would ultimately mention is that to do all these things, a comprehensive planning is required at least 2 levels. One is the macro level in the development plan. So we need to really think about the development plan in an integrated manner so that it really integrates high-speed rail station with the city. And the second one is at micro level, This is where now we also have mechanisms like local area planning. So how do we use that mechanism to really connect the city with the high-speed rail? So these are the kind of few thoughts that I had. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jignesh Bhai, for that answer. That brings us to a quick question to Mr. Pratik Sinha from Larsen and Toubro. Regarding the high-density compact development, or the TOD, and with the expertise that L&T has in the engineering works and all, how is TOD one of the areas where we can think about in terms of good quality infrastructure development, and how can private sector contribute to that TOD?
Thank you, sir. That's a very important and interesting question. So as we speak, L&T is one of the major builders of the high-speed rail corridor from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. So out of 508 kilometer of route length, approximately 468 kilometer is being constructed by L&T. So this is either in advanced stages of construction or it is near completion. Alongside this, we are also doing the electrification work in collaboration with Sojit Japan. Now, speaking of the HSR network, it has completely changed the way we perceive urban transportation. Now, it's no longer just a means and method to connect two places together, but it is also connecting two major economic cities in India, which is Mumbai and Ahmedabad. Now, the HSR stations or the bullet train stations are to be seen in the same way. So these are the destinations where not only the passengers alight and board, but they offer immense opportunity in form of an economic focal point. And these can be developed in the form of commercial hubs, in form of hospitality infrastructure, in form of educational institutes. And the way the TODs used to be before, it's going to change. So TODs, it is not that these didn't exist before. So we had TODs in metros, but metro is a completely different segment altogether, where the urban dwellers, they are located in the city itself, and the extent of TOD was limited to few kilometers. Now with HSR in place, we are talking about the influence zone which will extend to more than 50 kilometers, maybe up to 150 kilometers, which we saw in the presentation. Now there are three very important steps in this regard, which we can follow to ensure that the transit-oriented development, which is basically the development around the station, is done properly. So the first point is the stakeholder engagement. Now we need to identify all the stakeholders which are there. So in case of HSR, it is definitely the central government involvement is there, state government involvement is there, National High-Speed Rail Corporation is there, utility agencies are there, technology owners are there, and institutes are there. So all these parties, they have to come together and work for the common goal of developing this TOD. And instead of working in the silos, so once they work as a cross-functional teams, that's how the main objective is obtained. And second is to have the engineering excellence, or engineering excellence, like it comes at the planning stage itself. Very important is that it is an ecosystem now. Now HSR corridor is not alone. It is coexisting with the development around it. Now it is very important to visualize, and even more so to ensure that these two projects are coexisting in perfect harmony with each other. Now one such example which I would like to give from the HSR corridor itself is that on either side of the corridor, if somebody has seen, they'll find this precast panels, RCC panels. Now the purpose of these RCC panels is to cut down the noise so that the dwellers nearby are not disturbed. Now that's a very thoughtful approach, because somebody thought that when the Shinkansen will travel at a speed of more than 320 km/h, it will create a sonic boom, and the noise levels will reach more than 70 decibels. So it will create a nuisance for the dwellers nearby. So somebody thought that, okay, let us install the noise barrier panels. Let us make it soundproof. So that is how the harmonious design is developed. So in the same way, when we develop the transit-oriented development around the HSR stations, we have to make sure that by the time the TOD comes up, the HSR will be functioning, fully functioning. Now, it is one of the most important transportation systems in the country. So when we talk about TOD development, there are going to be many engineering challenges. There are going to be use of high-rise towers, deep excavations, the utilities which may have to be shifted. Now, all that has to be done without disturbing the railway operation in the first place. And that is where we come in. We provide an integrated approach to, plan the entire TOD as a, not as a fragmented contract. It is not a fragmented contract, but it's a single project which works in perfect cohesion with the already operational HSR. And once it is developed, once it is constructed, it is not just building these TODs alone, not only ensuring these amenities, passenger amenities, this infrastructure alone, it is also about the operation and maintenance of these TODs, which is very, very important. So only by fully integrating and conceptualizing at the planning stage about the design, the sustainability, then we'll be able to, have this infra development, which is going to serve us a lot in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the next question regarding the high density development nearby station areas, especially where high FSI is consumed. I'd like to pose a question to Mr. Samir Sinha regarding how do we focus on sustainability elements, especially with your interest in the green buildings, and such areas are conducive to urban heat island impact and all. How do we actually make these areas more livable, more sustainable in terms of the environment?
Thank you, Harpalji, and thank you, Mr. Commissioner Sir, for inviting me to this very interesting discussion. I'm delighted to be back in Baroda after a long time, and I'm extremely encouraged by the level of discussion that the people in Baroda are talking about, because I think the lives of Barodians are going to be impacted like never before after this development. Transportation has the impact on real estate like nothing else does. And we must understand that the price of real estate is based on location, but location is a virtue of transportation. We are talking about, Harpalji posed a question about density of development and FSI along the TOD. Unfortunately, we as a country focus too much on FSI, but not on livability. FSI is only a factor of density of development if the development is livable. You cannot go on making buildings if they turn out to be non-sustainable, non-friendly to the environment, non-social, if it does not create social impact and social value. So sustainability being one aspect which I think will be something that must be taken into account right at the design stage. You cannot make buildings green truly post-facto, post-design. It's only cosmetic surgery then. So it must be designed, sustainability must be part of the integrated design when we start designing the infrastructure, designing the buildings. And fortunately for us, Baroda has the advantage that we are in a position where we can learn from our neighborhood. We don't have to necessarily look at Japan and China and the West. Look at Gift City, right here, right in our neighborhood. Look at Dholera. It's a perfect example of what a well-planned, well-integrated, sustainable city can be. Every building in Gift City is designed to be certified as a green building. Gift City has district cooling systems. It has integrated waste management where all the waste that is generated in Gift City is converted into energy right there on site. The transportation is planned where the metro connects to the first floor of the buildings. It is a wonderful example of what a well-planned city can be. The challenge is that it is also the first example in India of an infrastructure-led development. We as a country have always flipped the equation, where we develop first, we make buildings, we give permissions, we develop the buildings, people move in, then we start digging for roads. And then once the roads are done, then we start digging for cables. And once the cable are laid, then we start digging for fiber optics. So unfortunately, that is something that we must get away from and start planning. And once again, coming back to the question of FSI that Harpalji raised, is higher FSI the only solution? Are we really ready for higher FSI? Transit-oriented development, I think the FSI in Baroda is what? Between 1.5 to 3. Are we ready for 6? Can Baroda afford to be 6? Do we have the bandwidth? Do we have the water? Do we have the digital bandwidth? Do we have the waste management? Are we ready to take on that kind of density? Just road widening is not the solution. We will have to think of integrated, holistic development. Somebody just mentioned, I think it must be an architect because he talked about placemaking. Have we as a policy thought about placemaking? Can we cities not look at placement? If you remember any good city that comes to your mind, what do you remember? You don't remember the roads, you remember the iconic place that you went to. So Central Park in New York, or Magnificent Mile in Chicago. Wherever you can go, enjoy, be part of the city, which is the city has to be equitable, it has to be fair, it has to be safe, it has to promote the economy. The GDP of the country resides in the cities. And the cities must develop to the point where it promotes innovation, where it promotes development, economy, fair, equity. All of that is the infrastructure that must also come along with building infrastructure. So somehow I feel that we cannot focus only on the hardware. We must focus on the software also.
Very well put. Thank you very much for that comprehensive answer. Going back to the presentation that Izumi-san made regarding the development in tourism and the increased footfall in nearby areas, I would like to ask a question to Yoshioka-san. He belongs to a beautiful city known as Himeji in the middle of Japan. And how has actually the tourism activity increased in Himeji after the inauguration of the high-speed railway? If you can please throw some light upon that.
Thank you. Thank you for invitation to this seminar. And then, I'm from Himeji, Japan, and close to the Osaka. Osaka is a kind of a city like Mumbai in India. It's the second biggest city. Then in Himeji, HSR opened 1972, it's 50 years ago. Then after that, I think it's like HSR, they reduced the time to access radically. Then it helps like tourism especially. Then Shinkansen is like improved access to the Himeji from Tokyo and Osaka, so visitor can reach really easily Himeji and attractive points of sightseeing in Himeji city. And especially Himeji Castle is the most famous attraction point. It's one of the most famous castle built in 1906. It's more than 400 years ago. Then Tokyo was far away before the opening HSL. But after opening HSL, it just takes 3 hours from Tokyo. So people can go the Himeji and come back within a day, the same day. So as a result, the number of visitors has increased very much. Then I want to stress that it has increased after the restoration of Himeji Castle in 2015. It means that Shinkansen itself did not create the attractive point. It's like expand the accessible area, then make the existing attraction point stronger as a sightseeing point, in my viewpoint. This also has bring more business to hotels, shops, local places as well. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Yoshi-san, for that answer. I think with the high-speed railway coming to Baroda, Statue of Unity is one of the area which may see increased footfall for tourists who can easily come from Mumbai especially, and higher number of footfalls can be expected. It would also fall within the economic influence zone as defined by Izumi-san. So very comprehensive discussions on all areas. With the presence of Raju Bhadke sir here, the DRM in Western Railway, I would request sir to throw some light upon how the conventional railway station of Vadodara is expected to have an impact with the opening of high-speed railway.
Good afternoon. I must express my sincere thanks and gratitude to VMC for organizing such a good conference and taking up this very important topic. And of course, personal thanks to the Commissioner, Arun Mahesh Babu. You asked a very pertinent question. You see, I'll like to expand the question and say when this project was conceptualized by none other than our Honorable Prime Minister, it was not to just provide more seats, more trains to the most important two cities of the country. But this was overall regional connectivity. You see, from Baroda, we'll be connecting to Mumbai in like 1 hour, 30 minutes. Right now, and Ahmedabad to Mumbai, 2 hours, 7 minutes. Right now, we got like 18 flights daily from Ahmedabad to Mumbai. About 6 to 8 flights daily from Baroda to Mumbai. So you see the amount of transportation required and the time you take. So it will reduce tremendously. Plus the connectivity from Mumbai will be soon, the work to Pune is sanctioned. And in next about 5 to 6 years, we'll have connection from Mumbai to Pune. So virtually from Baroda to Mumbai, you reach in 1 hour, 30 minutes. Further, you go to Pune in 40 minutes. See, with this, see the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister. The most important economical, financial and cultural developed cities of the country will be connected so quickly. Like the industrial corridor Pune to Mumbai, Pune, Thane, Mumbai, then Mumbai to Vapi, Surat, Baroda, Ahmedabad are getting connected, which is such a high speed, like person residing in Baroda can go up to Pune in like 2.5 hours, has meetings here, come back. The Mumbai station is in BKC itself, have his meetings there, have his time over there, and then come back to his home in Baroda by night. So just see the amount of development, amount of ease the people in the Baroda will have. And this will, without fail, give the connections across to the country. Now, the very important topic, how the rail connection will be useful. You just talked about Ekta Nagar. I'll just throw a simple example. A person coming from Mumbai will reach to Baroda in 1 hour, 30 minutes. Now, HSR is developing a platform just below the HR station. The platform was 7. My friend Harsh is here. He's developing that platform there. We are already connecting the rail connections there. And from there, we already have a very special tourist train, which is now operating from Ahmedabad to Ekta Nagar. We'll start it from Baroda itself, and you will reach from Baroda to Ekta Nagar in 1 hour, 15 minutes in a very comfortable and luxurious manner. So just see the amount of growth impetus we'll get at Ekta Nagar with this train and with this connection. And once you come to Baroda, we are already developing all the 7 platforms, full-length stations. From here, this will become the hub. And as VMC is already working on developing the stations, the connection, the entire area, and the connection up to airport. And the plan of Baroda development is already in place and is getting developed. So from here, Baroda, I'm talking about the connection with Ekta Nagar within our 50-kilometer EI zone, as it was discussed. We got Daboi, we got Bharuch, Anand, where of course the high-speed train station is there. But the entire industrial belt up to our Halol, and on the seaside up to the Jambusar. So we'll have an immense amount of development, and the train connections will be going parallel. You see, when the development of HSR station was being discussed about Baroda, we specifically chose it within the railway station premises. So we have got seamless connectivity. In fact, the station is just 400 meters from the railway station, and we're already planned, and we're starting the work on having a travelator connecting the two stations. And as Commissioner VMC has already started the project of connecting the high-speed station, the roads, to the bus station and to the airport. So we'll have seamless connectivity. So this will give our entire people, the people of Baroda and surrounding areas, very seamless connectivity to all the major centers, from the gift city in Ahmedabad to BKC in Mumbai to the Surat Diamond City. And of course, one very important point will be there. The Baroda happens to be the cultural capital of the state and this entire area. Also the heart of transportation of this entire area. The simple thing is, with such a great university we got one MSU here and a couple of private universities. We can have like educational hub here that will give us immense help and to the overall development. So the basic question is, we'll have very seamless connectivity of HSR with the railway network, which will be connecting us to the Madhya Pradesh, to Indore very soon, to Delhi via Nagda, of course Ahmedabad and entire Gujarat connections, and of course the airport connections will give us connectivity to the entire country. So this is going to bring great things for Baroda very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That was very beautifully explained how the travel time and all will be reduced. And I just realized there are also a lot of people in Baroda, sir, who have their roots from Maharashtra. It will be even better for them to go back to their home cities, and very convenient for them. So very comprehensive discussion we had, starting from the integration of railway transport systems with the high-speed railway, with how can we take the benefit of regional mobility and connectivity, and also the city-level connectivity. How do we take benefit and increase the impact of the high-speed railway, to the economic development prospect as explained by Mr. Izumi and also Mr. Pizarro, the agglomeration effect, both the positives and negatives, very well explained, and the answers on TOD in the discussions on sustainability, urban design, and a very comprehensive panel. I would request Chairman, sir, to have his concluding remarks on the panel. Sir.
Thank you, Harpalji. I'm sure it was a very, very comprehensive review as well as narration that was done by all of us. We never expected the international experts from Japan to do so much of research on Vadodara and come out with a plan in comparison to another city out there. Extremely grateful to the DRM also to co-chair this session. As we move to the conclusion of the panel one, I'm extremely grateful to the municipal corporation elected body. We have the mayor, the standing committee chairman, the elected representatives here. So in your august presence, we just wish to take this project ahead. As you all know, this is a project of national priority of the Honorable Prime Minister, starting from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. And in the days to come, probably Bangalore, Chennai is also the phase 2. And as you all know that today Honorable Chief Minister and Urban Development Minister also announced that we are coming up with the RRTS also between Delhi and Meerut, and probably the next phase between Ahmedabad and Dholera. So having said that, we take up the high-speed rail corridor area development national perspective and international perspective to a conclusion. I'm thankful to the DRM and his team, because you will be, the panel that you see on stage is actually going to sit together to plan the high-speed rail area development, because it is going to be supported by the government of Gujarat. They've already started the tendering for high-speed area development out there for brownfield for Ahmedabad and Vadodara, and probably greenfield for Gujarat and Surat and Mumbai and the other stations. So we have the experts from government of Gujarat. We did have the minister from government of India in the morning. And we have got people from the planning side who had told you about how we need to take the planning ahead. We have the railway authorities here and the bullet train team who are actually developing the Amrit station and the bullet train station. Very interestingly, we have a friend Samir from Ahmedabad. You're throwing the actual realities of what are the developments. Is Vadodara ready for this? Of course, we are ready for this. I think we need to take the discussions ahead, because apart from this, the entire hall is the people from Baroda. I think we all can say in one voice that we are ready as good as Ahmedabad is. So that is where we need to take. But yes, what you said is proper planning, not just FSI or TOD. It has to be right from the ducts to the high rises. Are we going to give a livable city by 2047, or not just high rises in the city? But of course, we will also take experts' priorities from help from you. We've got Kedai also, Vadodara here. We will be having an interaction after this. And really thankful to the experts from abroad. I would go in a sequence. Thankful to Rini ma'am. Thankful to Kazuki Yoshioka, who's an expert from Japan. Mr. Pratik Sinha, who is actually into the construction of the L&T team. Professor Shivanand Swami. We would take your help in the future because you've been a part of transport planning and executions in urban transport. And Professor Nandini Kannan was also telling that how it is going to economically impact the city of Vadodara. When you're talking about a Viksit Vadodara by 2047, the economics also matters, and how inclusivity and development for all is the mantra. Professor Jignesh Mehta, of course, we would be looking forward for your support in the TOD development, the public spaces development. And of course, Samir is going to be around. I'm sure you'll also shift base to Vadodara. We'll welcome you here at some point of time. And Mr. Yasuzo Izumi gave a clear insight with much of research about how we can replicate such models of Japan in the country. And we are thankful to Andres Pizarro. Apart from the investment speech that you narrated, we also look forward for investments from the Japanese or the Asian Infrastructure Bank. That is how we are going to take it ahead. I'm sure once the investments come, the Vadodara Municipal Corporation, municipal body will also be taking this ahead. So we have the mayor and the team sitting here. So they all will support us. I'm sure we're all going to work together to take this kind of development ahead. So I'm sure the second panel is itching to come up on stage. And we will not take you much of a time. I would conclude this panel on a positive note that yes, Baroda is ready for the high-speed rail corridor area development. We are going to mix up the Amrit station, the bullet train station, the GSRTC station and the Janmal station into one colluded area with also a heritage square which has been planned for the city. So we all need to see a new horizon, a new sun in the city of Vadodara with all the joint efforts of all of us together. I think an inclusive voice and an exclusive development is the future for Vadodara. Thank you so much.
Thank you. A sincere gratitude to our session chair, Shri Arun Mahesh Babu. Can we have a huge round of applause for him, please? Thank you, Mr. Harpal Dave, for skillfully moderating a stimulating and insightful discussion, and to all our distinguished panelists for sharing their valuable perspective. One more time, a huge round of applause for everyone. As we are pressed with time, we might open for a few questions, sir, 2 to 3 questions.
Quickly, if anybody has any questions, or if anybody is more patient to ask questions, we can have 1 or 2 questions to the panelists on stage, if there's anybody. I think they are waiting for the next panel to start. Thank you. Yeah.
Sorry to break the protocol. Can I ask you a question, please? Can I ask the Commissioner, please? Sir, is it possible to involve the youth of the city in owning up this project? Because ultimately it is for them that we are doing this.
I think the second panel is exclusively for that. I think the answer would be from, I think Pratyush is already waiting to take up that. He also has his university students. You must have seen that we did an MOU with MS University, with Navrachna and Parul. We already have an MOU with Gati Shakti, which was done in presence of Honorable Chief Minister last time. So all of them we are going to involve. We are going to involve Kedai also, because they are going to develop this place. So yes, it is not just VMC. It is going to be all the students who are going to do the planning, the research scientists are going to contribute, you're going to contribute, the planners from CEPT are going to contribute, and the development will be an inclusive development. I'm sure there's a lot of scope for the youngsters to take up, and I'm sure by 2047 we are not going to be there, and those youngsters will take care of the city. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Again, ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause? As a token of appreciation, we will now felicitate our respected session chair, moderator, and all the distinguished panelists. May I please request Mr. Chintan Desai, sir, to come up on the stage to felicitate Arun, sir. A warm round of applause. Requesting Ruturaj sir to come and felicitate Raju Badke sir. Requesting Santosh Tiwari sir to come up and felicitate Rini ma'am. Requesting Mangesh Jaiswal sir to come up and felicitate Harpal Dave sir. Requesting Pramod Wasawa sir to felicitate Kosuki Yoshikoka sir. Requesting Dharmik Dave sir to felicitate Mr. Prateek Sinha sir. Requesting Darshan Mehta sir to felicitate Shivanand Swami sir. Requesting Mukesh Vaidya sir to felicitate Nandini Kannan ma'am. Requesting Suresh Tuvar sir to felicitate Jignesh Mehta sir. Requesting Prashant Joshi sir to felicitate Samir Sinha sir. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm round of applause, please. I would request all the panelists to stay for a group photograph. Thank you to each and every panelist for making this panel discussion extremely interesting. So moving on to our second panel discussion. Infrastructure creates connectivity, but thoughtful planning transforms connectivity into thriving communities. Our second panel discussion explores how strategic area development around high-speed rail infrastructure can unlock new economic opportunities. Strengthening urban ecosystem and creating sustainable, livable cities. The theme for this season is Area Development Perspective on a High-Speed Rail Corridor as a Catalyst for Economic Growth and Regional Development. May I now have the pleasure of inviting the distinguished panelists, moderator and the chair. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get started with our second panel discussion. May I please call upon Sri Akshay Budania Sir, IAS. He is Service Officer of 2018 Gujarat cadre and currently serves as a Deputy Municipal Commissioner, Vadodara Municipal Corporation, with an academic background in engineering and diverse administrative experience. He is going to chair this session. Can we have a huge round of applause for him, please? Calling upon the moderator of this session, Mr. Pratyush Shankar, who is a practicing architect and academic. He is currently the Provost of Navrashna University, Vadodara. He was awarded by Alexander for the Fellowship Award and was hosted at the University of Bonn, Germany. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for him, please. Calling out the other panelists and speakers, Mr. Sant Pandya, Senior Town Planner, Vadodara Urban Development Authority. He is an experienced professional with extensive expertise in urban planning, land management and development administration. Over the course of his career, he has contributed to planning and implementation of key urban initiatives. Can we have a huge round of applause for Mr. Pandya? Calling upon Mr. Ajay Ranka, Chairman MD Zydex. Mr. Ranka is a he leads a global innovation-led company, pioneers sustainable solution for urban infrastructure, roads, water management and climate-resistant development. A PhD in polymer science and engineering USA, he founded Zydex in 1997 with a vision of developing technologies that conserve natural resources and promote sustainable growth. Can we have a huge round of applause for Mr. Ranka, please? Now calling up next on the stage is Professor Saswat Bandyopadhyay, expert member of National and State HLC Urban Planning and Governance, CEPT University. He has over 28 years of experience across South Asia, holding a PhD in climate resistant. His work focuses on climate resistant urban development, city planning, environmental infrastructure. Can we have a huge round of applause for Mr. Professor Saswat, please? Now calling upon next is Ms. Shreya Dalwadi. She is an architect, urban planner, green development specialist with over 20 years of experience in consultancy, research and academia. She is the director of Harmony, a Vadodara-based consultancy specializing in sustainable industrial development and green infrastructure solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for ma'am? Calling upon next is Mr. Sameer Khera. He is an entrepreneur, industry leader, over 35 years of experience in engineering and manufacturing sectors, a strong advocate of responsible industrial growth. He has consistently championed sustainable business practices, environmental and innovation-driven development. A huge round of applause for him, please. Calling upon next is Mr. Mayank Patel. He is a prominent real estate developer and an industry leader, currently serving as a president of CREDAI Vadodara and a vice president of CREDAI Gujarat. With an extensive experience in real estate, urban development sector, he played a key role in promoting sustainable growth, stakeholder engagement and policy advocacy for the development community. Can we have a huge round of applause for all the panelists, please? Now that we have the entire panelists up on the dais, may I please request the moderator to kindly take forward for the proceeding. So over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for organizing this. I must thank the Baroda Municipal Corporation for having a very eminent list of panelists here. We have representation from the government, we have representation from industry, we have professors here, we have advocates, activists, everyone is around here. But the last session was really about what is happening in the world, in Japan, in China, in other cities. And in this session, we are dealing with people who are right here in Baroda. In fact, we are dealing with a set of people who have to execute this massive plan. This session is titled Area Development, and I think in the last session, many people mentioned about the value of urban design planning in and around the railway station. It cannot be a standalone kind of an activity. If I were to just give some of my starting words to the session, I think a city experiences this kind of a transformation only once in our lifetime. This is a historic moment in the city, that a massive infrastructure is going to enter right in the heart of the city. Case studies after case studies have shown us that cities across the world, when they did such a big project, it also led to massive transformation. It led to a huge amount of urban renewal, and almost the city took a different turn. So in that sense, it becomes very, very important that we plan and design for this new development. And it is only right that I would like to begin the panel discussion with our Chief Town Planner of Buda, Shri Sant Pandya ji. I mean, you have a huge responsibility on your shoulder. We look towards Buda to, integrate and execute. What I would really want to learn from you is that how are you preparing for this massive project? And secondly, how does it work with the existing development plan that you already have? If you could throw some light as to how do you think Buda would be a very, very central organization that will have to execute this massive project. It would be lovely to hear you.
At present, the present development plan of Buda that was sanctioned in year 2012 by the state government and which was planned for the year of 2031. As per the statutory provision of the Gujarat Town Planning and Urban Development Act, the development plan shall be revised once in a 10 years. So we are revising our development plan, and as a part of the revision of development plan, we are now focusing majorly on this HSR station. Basically, at present time, if I locate the HSR station in my present development plan, so, and if I draw a 2 or 3 kilometer radius around the HSR station, then the 30 to 40% area of that influence zone falls under the Gamtal area. And the 60% area falls under the revenue area, which is having a zoning of, which is having a multiple zoning, like urban zone, industrial zone, educational zone. We have a defense area nearby HSR station. We have many heritage sites near the HSR station. Apart from that, we have 3 ring roads in our development plan. So the first ring road, that having a width of 40 meters, is passing across the HSR station. So looking to this land use pattern in the sanctioned development plan, in the proposed development plan, we are going to make a separate HH node, multimodal node around the HSR station. And in that, we will delineate the boundary of influence zone. So for delineation of the boundary of influence zone, we will consider the walkability parameter. We'll consider how the integration of public transportation with the HSR station will be done. We'll see the different potentiality area around the HSR station, and accordingly we will delineate the boundary of the HSR station. Apart from that, as I told you earlier, we have a multiple zoning in the nearby area of HSR station. So we will also think to adopting mixed use land zoning in the HSR area. Also, we are thinking to make a separate development control regulation, because in previous session also, we come to know that Vadodara and Ahmedabad, both the stations are situated in a brownfield area. So redevelopment is also one of the tasks for Vadodara. So we will also amend our development control regulation for encouragement of the brownfield area development. So that would be the incentive or planning narratives we will do in our next development plan.
Thank you, Mr. Pandya. I think it's a good perspective that you're throwing in. Brownfield projects has its own set of challenges which are very unique. As much as they are challenging, they do offer a lot of possibility for a new kind of a revival that the city center can take place. I would like to just switch gears, and I would like to bring in Professor Shashwat here. Now, I've known Shashwat for ages, and apart from being a professor, Shashwat has been consulting and advising cities across the country, perhaps even outside the country. Can you tell us, Shashwat, which are the cities, according to your experience, have managed to pull this off? And which are the cities that actually fall flat? I think this is also a good time to examine case studies, as we say it in academics. If you could just tell us, or maybe something else you want to talk about.
Yeah, thank you, Pratyush. This is indeed a pleasure to be here. But you know that since afternoon we have been discussing about high-speed railway and the economic opportunities that it brings in. But always remember that HSR doesn't itself create an economic prosperity. It only creates an accessibility, brings market closer. But to translate that into a regional prosperity, you need a regional framework to receive such, to create those investment together. And that's first thing. Like in the previous panel, I heard somebody saying we need 1,000 buses. But 1,000 buses to go to whom? Connect to where? And this is where we need to introspect a bit more seriously. There are very interesting cases, like in Japan, the high-speed railway had indeed triggered a lot of regional prosperity, but there are also cases in our neighborhood, like Indonesia, where from Jakarta to Bandung, because it didn't really translate, because there was no regional or local framework to translate this. What scares me is this diagram around the railway station of certain kilometer, because the whole theory of economic agglomeration will defeat it because we are only just limiting certain areas. So we have to be very careful, and we have to look the cases like high-speed railways in Japan, high-speed railways in Indonesia, Spain, Germany. And it also gives certain good practices. For example, the high-speed railways in Germany, they also created a regional planning framework and also regional cooperation framework among the economic actors. So we also have to open up and to learn that how do we really translate these opportunities that are coming and whether it will work. And there are two kinds of stations, as Mr. Dave was showing. One is greenfield and one the brownfield. Now, what happens when this station comes? Brownfield stations will see a lot of redevelopment. And that redevelopment needs to be guided so that they are safer, they are environmentally sustainable, and also a city like Baroda, which is culturally so unique, those cultural attributes are preserved and accentuated. Because it need not be another case of redevelopment. There are other part of it, we see that it triggers a lot of greenfield, and greenfield stations are a bit riskier because it takes time to take off for a longer period. To answer to this question, this is a unique opportunity for the city of Baroda or the planning team, but we need to create a regional planning framework and regional cooperation framework to take that big advantage out of this. The new renewal development that you are talking about for a city like Baroda has to be different than any other, for example, Surat, Bharuch, because its cultural attributes are accentuated. Third is also, we need to learn from some of the practices that how we bring the citizens and the industries together as a part of this development. It's not only a railway infrastructure that we are creating, we are revitalizing. And of course, there would be attributes like urban design to take care of the smaller areas. So these would be my initial thoughts on this. Over to you, Pratyush.
Thank you, thank you. I think, Shashwat, this opens up the debate in a very interesting fashion. So I think three things that you're saying. One is, do not see the area around the railway station in isolation. See it at the scale of the region, at the scale of the city, and unless it is not integrated, it could even turn out to be difficult. So that's number one. Secondly, and I think I will let Samir answer that in a while, Baroda is a unique city. And being unique, can we come up with a model which is very unique? And I think, we have enthusiasts or activists here who are very, militant about the culture that we have. And I think the third point that you said is, how do we integrate the industry? And that is a point I want to pick up with our next few speakers, because planning today, and that's what we keep talking about, is not the socialist master planning that we used to do in 60s and 70s, where we draw a master plan and the state was the only provider state doing it. State is now a facilitator. And without the active involvement of the industry, I think nothing is possible. I might like to ask Mr. Ajay here, who represents the industry. This is a unique project, a massive project. Lot many speakers, even in the morning session, were talking about working with the industry and the fact that Baroda itself has a massive industrial history. What do you think the role, not only your industry, but you representing the industry at large, what role can industry play?
See, one of the things first I would like to say that travel is actually going to become non-essential for industry as we move in the future. This is a very interesting counter thesis. Because we are going to go into a digital era where people are actually not be needing to travel, number one. The travel will be for leisure and tourism, which is what is going to become the primary need. What is going to help us is when you create an atmosphere of culture, ability to be happy, ability to think, innovate, and lead a good life. That's where innovation happens. That's where the best of the minds come. That's where the industry will come. The question is, are you addressing that? Right from, I would say, let's say the brownfield of Vadodara, why are we not looking at Singapore airport as an example, where they have created a 5-acre dome? Why can't we create that, where people come enjoy? So my entire focus will be, industry will come to an ecosystem. Industry will come to where intellectuals like to live, intellectuals like to enjoy. So think about that. And the second point I would like to make is, India's production in terms of the babies have gone down and is likely to keep going down. हमारा birth rate कम हो गया है. तो आगे जाके हमको एक ऐसा सोसाइटी बनाना है कि जहाँ पे elder people are able to enjoy, youngers are going to keep getting less. Robotization is a reality, तो robot friendly भी हमको हमारी facilities बनानी पड़ेंगी, हमारी cities बनानी पड़ेगी. और मुझे लगता है कि बड़ौदा के अंदर being an auto, I mean central Gujarat I am saying, all automobile companies are likely to become the robot manufacturing companies because they have the battery, they have the computers, they have the hydraulics, and they are the future robot manufacturing companies. So industry will thrive in this region. I don't think there is a doubt, but create a livable system. Thank you.
Thank you, Ranka Saab. I think one or 2 points that I can take away from here. Let us not just look at industrial growth, but let's look at the nature of industrial growth. I think Baroda has been blessed with very scientifically oriented and research oriented industry, unlike many other cities. And if we really use this opportunity to develop a kind of a city where young people want to move in, where they can enjoy their cultural life. And let me tell you, Baroda does offer that kind of a cultural life. But if we were to extend that idea, then we really create a unique city experience. And I might like to move to Sam here, since everyone is talking about the fact that Baroda is unique, and you also keep shouting about it in every forum that you get. So Sam, you've been advocating the cause of heritage for donkey's years now, yeah? And somebody might argue that, well, this big project, this big humongous project that's coming up there is going to disrupt the question of heritage, but can we also see this as an opportunity? I'm putting it in a more constructive fashion. Can it be a way in which we can reimagine heritage, or will it be us versus them?
Interesting. I think good perspectives here, and I don't think we really have to contradict those perspectives. At the end of the day, I think what we are trying to say is Baroda is and can become a great city to live in. Okay. Now, does that ability of a city to attract individuals of different calibers, of a certain, I think mostly we are clear as to the kind of industry and the kind of growth that Baroda wants to be in. Right? So if you're talking of a design-oriented or a creative, we know that Baroda has a history of art. We know Baroda has a history of culture. I think somebody mentioned that, the major mode of travel, the need for travel will be around tourism. So can this city reposition itself? Of course, industry is important. Nobody wants not to have industry, but at the end of the day, if you create a city which people want to live in, are happy to live in, then automatically that feeds onto the larger population and you have more people wanting to come and live in the city and visit the city. Many questions and in terms of the heritage, I think the first thing I need to talk about is that the railway station, the HSR station, is coming up in the vicinity of probably what is one of the most important clusters of heritage structures in Baroda, the MS University, right? It's not just one building, there's a cluster of buildings there, which are, I think, of eminent importance. I think it's key to how the city has grown in the past. We have seen how when Baroda was great, and excuse me for saying that, that a lot of it was due to the kind of intellectual capital that was available in MS University and the growth of the university. So I think it's very important that, and already I think a lot of the structures have come up, so I'm not sure if that has gone into it, but we have this, I think in CSR and all of that, we have this issue, we have this concept of impact assessment. So if we are taking up major structures in that vicinity, if we have thrown a high-speed railway line right across that portion, I am assuming that some kind of impact assessment has been done. Now, I think the other, and if I can call it a problem, I think typically we work and I'm not apportioning blame here anyway, it's just the way it's the nature of the beast, if I can say that. I think we all work in silos, right? So the HSR is designing this railway line and the railway station. There is somebody else, the VMC is creating its own urban development plan. And so there are different agencies involved. And is there a cohesive mechanism which kind of incorporates all that goes into imagining what that area will be like? So I think that's a concern which I have. And I'm sure we are probably not too late in even trying to address that today. I think we spoke about the unique position and the uniqueness of Baroda and its culture. I think we have been working with the VMC now for the last year and a half, and I know that Navrashna University has also been an integral part of that, to work on positioning Baroda as a creative city for design, right? So, yeah, and that is really lifting up from the entire ecosystem that Baroda has today. And I mean, there are examples, like for example, Bangkok. Bangkok became a creative city of design and that helped the city to design its urban infrastructure in a way that it stood out, right? I think Shanghai went through a similar exercise. So can we leverage the strengths that we have? Can we kind of have a coherent mechanism to work together to take into, because I think that's the way the system works, is everybody does their own work. But at the end of the day, when you try to agglomerate it, I think there are gaps, and which by the time we come to know, I think it's probably too late to fix that. So that's where I think some of the issues that come to mind are related. So.
Thanks, Sam. And I think if I were to just take 2 lines from all that you said, is that we will have to cooperate amongst ourselves. When I say cooperate, it's a cooperation that is not only amongst the government bodies, but also industry, academia. In fact, Sameer Sinha, our friend who was here in the last panel, threw up a challenge whether Baroda can pull it off. And I think the way things are coalescing together, why not? But I think what would be very important is the role that each actors can play together. Real estate developers are very, very important in this collaboration. We have with us Mayank Bhai here, who is representing, the whole domain of real estate. And Mayank Bhai, what would you expect? We have met in other meetings where these projects have been discussed. We need private capital in planning, in making our cities. And the private sector has to work in tandem, in cooperation with the government. I mean, Gift City is a classic example of that. I mean, we had the chairman of Savvy Group, Samir Sinha, here, whom I've had the pleasure of working with, how they have worked together. What is your expectation from the state, from others, and how do you see this project coming up from your perspective?
As far as concerned to the real estate people and the Barodians also, I was hearing the last panelist, distinguished panelist, who was told that Baroda can be a cultural city. Baroda can be a education hub. But I am little bit differentiate from them. Baroda is a cultural capital. Baroda is an education hub. Not only the question of HSR, we should not forget two other, you can say it's a blessing projects. One of them is Delhi Mumbai freight corridor, and second is railway freight corridor, dedicated railway freight corridor. So Vadodara will be a logistic capital also because of the strategic location of the Baroda. अगर हम बात करते हैं कि हाउ वी कैन अट्रैक्ट द पीपल, तो दो चीजें ऐसी है. वन इज बड़ौदा इज अ कल्चरल सिटी, वडोदरा इज अ हेरिटेज सिटी, वडोदरा इज अ फेस्टिवल सिटी, एंड वडोदरा इज अ एजुकेशन हब. और एक सबसे दो इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है कि अफोर्डेबल लिविंग, अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग एंड अफोर्डेबल एजुकेशन, ये भी बड़ौदा में है. तो ये सब ग्रोथ जो हम देख रहे हैं, बिकॉज ऑफ ये आप जो बात कर रहे हैं HSR से, एक हम बोल सकते हैं कि डिस्टेंस जो था वो मेगा सिटीज के साथ हमारा कम हो गया. तो ईज ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्ट की वजह से लोग 100% अट्रैक्ट बड़ौदा में होंगे, बिकॉज ऑफ बड़ौदा इज अ कल्चरल सिटी, बड़ौदा इज अ अफोर्डेबल एजुकेशन सिटी. बड़ौदा में रहने के लिए आपकी कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव सिटी है, अदर कंपेयर टू अदर सिटी लाइक अहमदाबाद, सूरत और मुंबई. बड़ौदा की कॉस्ट ऑफ लिविंग इज लेस देन, आई थिंक इट्स 30-40%. तो जो प्रोफेशनल्स है जो ये भी सोच सकते हैं कि बच्चे की पढ़ाई बड़ौदा में हो सकती है. यहाँ जो भी प्रोफेशनल, सबसे ज़्यादा लोग बड़ौदा में जो काम भी करके जाते हैं, तो वो सोचते हैं कि हमको यहीं पे रहना है. ऐसा हमने देखा है पूरा लाइफ में. तो ये जो एक माइंडसेट बड़ौदा के लिए है, विच इज़ अ ब्लेसिंग्स. तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है ईज ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्ट, ये सब चीज़ों की वजह से माइग्रेशन भी बहुत ज़्यादा आएगा. और दूसरी बात, मैं रंका साहब से ये अग्री करता हूँ कि वी जस्ट नॉट थॉट अबाउट द 3 किलोमीटर पेरिफेरी, बिकॉज वाई मोस्ट ऑफ द एरिया falls under the Vadodara Kasba. It's a walled city area, right? So much of heritage buildings are there. दूसरी बात ऐसी है, मोस्ट ऑफ द एरिया जो HSR स्टेशन के पेरीफरी में आते हैं, वो एरिया में इतनी ज़्यादा वैकेंट लैंड अवेलेबल नहीं है. दूसरा जो भी है, वो जो न्यूक्लियस एरिया है उसका FSI 2 FSI है. और उसका जंतरी रेट आप जानते हो कि कम से 75,000 to 80,000, 75 to 1 lakh rupees a square meter. If developer wants to develop high-rise building, he cannot afford the jantri rate FSI. So first of all, जो FSI है वो फिक्स रेट में वो एरिया में अगर मिलती है तभी आप एक एट्रैक्टिव स्काईलाइन बना सकते हो. दैट इज द फर्स्ट प्रपोजल. सेकंड, अगर हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं कि HSR, तो हाई स्पीड की बात करते हैं ना, तो जितनी भी चीजें जो पेंडिंग है, मेरे हिसाब से जो डेवलपमेंट प्लान था वो 2022 में आना चाहिए था जनवरी में. वो डेवलपमेंट प्लान अभी तक प्रिपेयर करने की बात है. तो वो सब चीजें भी हाई स्पीड में होनी चाहिए. वो सब चीजें भी हाई स्पीड अगर होगी तो आप डेवलप कर सकते हो. क्योंकि बड़ौदा में अगर आपको ग्रोथ चाहिए, इंडस्ट्रियल ग्रोथ चाहिए, इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ चाहिए, लोगों को अट्रैक्ट करना है, तो अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग भी देना पड़ेगा. और अगर आप अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग सोच रहे हो तो अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग के लिए जो 2012 का जो डीपी है उसमें जितने भी रिजर्वेशंस हैं, जो रिजर्वेशन हटाने पड़ेंगे. मोबिलिटी के लिए 75 मीटर रोड, मोर देन 50% 75 मीटर रोड आज यूज में है, मतलब इट इज यूटिलाइज नाउ. वो रोड अगर पूरा हो जाता है तो जो रूरल और रीजनल एरिया की मोबिलिटी है वो भी फास्ट हो जाएगी. साथ में वो 75 मीटर रोड्स के ऊपर भी हमको टारगेट करना चाहिए कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा डेवलपमेंट आए, अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग की पॉसिबिलिटी बढ़े, और उसके जो जोनिंग है, उसके जो क्रंच है, उसको भी हाई स्पीड फाइल चला के, सर आपको रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ, उसको भी फास्ट करना चाहिए. तो अभी सर क्या है ना कि इफ़ वी आर थिंकिंग अबाउट द डेवलपमेंट, तो जो अर्बन डेवलपमेंट के लिए जो स्पेस चाहिए उतनी स्पेस बड़ौदा के पास अवेलेबल नहीं है. तो एसटीपी सर और म्यूनसिपल कमिश्नर सर को भी बोलता हूँ कि ये सब जो चीज़ें हैं, कुछ चीज़ें ऐसी है जो जस्ट गवर्नमेंट की हेल्प से इमीडिएट, कुछ जोनिंग ऐसा है जिसका रिस्ट्रिक्शन हटा के हम अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग को प्रमोट कर सकते हैं. थैंक यू.
Thank you, Mayank bhai. Many advice from him. Apart from high-speed files was a new word that I've learned today. One thing that I really take from what you said is how the high-speed rail project should not be a standalone project, and it should integrate with all previous and future projects of the city, which is very easy to say but very difficult and challenging to do. For example, how does it integrate with your projects of heritage, public transportation, other land use redensification, etc. So thank you, Mayank ji, for this very wise advice. I would move on to our last panelist, but the most important one in today's day and age. We have Shreya, who is very passionate about sustainability. She has been working with building regulations and code, how to make it sustainable. If this was a discussion 20 years back, we would never invite somebody like you, but in the times of not climate change, but climate emergency, how do you see such important public projects that are very symbolic in nature, that can become a very useful way of communicating concerns of sustainability? Any idea there, Shreya?
This happens to be one of my favorite questions, and to my co-panelists, my moderator and the audience, the green development that we want to address today is not the color green. दोस्तों, ये सिर्फ ग्रीन कलर की बात नहीं है, इसमें कार्बन, वाटर, एनर्जी और वेस्ट को एड्रेस करने की बात है. So I'm proud to say that as a representative of India Green Building Council, there are guidelines for more than 35 different types of buildings. It's like a maths paper prescription, how to go eco-friendly and how to go sustainable. लेकिन ये 25 years का journey है council का. This is not a full stop. There's an urgent need to address the climate emergency कि environment और economics का शादी हो. ठीक है? Environment and economics, जब तक एक दूसरे से they don't get married, they don't take care of each other. So quick clues. The other day, we were sitting with San Saab also, कि already paid FSI में discount है for the buildings which are green rated, number one. Number two, compulsory for all government buildings to go green. Yes, that's a great challenge which Gujarat has overcome since 2017 and things are in place. इसका मतलब ये होता है कि जो building developer है, he or she or that group is motivated to make sustainable buildings. But then the others, ठीक है? So here where the administration is present, Commissioner sir, and where the governance is present, Mayor madam, I would want to throw quick clues. We need a bottom-up approach. Number one, अगर कोई energy efficient building बनाता है, अगर उसका consumption ECBC code से नीचे आता है, तो उसको थोड़ा खास discount दीजिए energy bills में, और लोग motivate होंगे. The entire market shall sort of develop. Number two, embodied energy of carbon, plethora of papers and plethora of knowledge. So employers product development EPDs, अगर mandatory किया जाए और उसके सामने जिसने EPD का declaration आपको दिया, सन साहब उसको property tax में थोड़ा सा दे दीजिए, सब लोग भागेंगे sir, and that's the way to motivate. Number three, waste. So Gangtok is a very good example. Waste फेंकने वाला और waste फेंकने वाले का फोटो खींचने वाला, दोनों को 2,500, मतलब फेंकने वाले को 5,000 पेनल्टी है. The municipal office gets 2,500 and उसको जिसने पकड़ा वो व्यक्ति gets 2,500. What a fantastic way of public participation to remove the deposition of waste at unaccounted places. However strong we strive to build a very foolproof system in such high density like Baroda is a little difficult. तो ये एक quick clue है Commissioner sir कि आप भी कर सकते हैं, and you can come in the good books of everywhere. Last but not least, carbon sink, SINK. Carbon sink का मतलब है हम ऐसे areas develop करें जहाँ पर carbon absorption बहुत quickly हो. इसके मॉर्निंग वाले सेशन में कमिश्नर साहब ने कहा था कि देयर इज अ प्लान टू ग्रो 25 लाख ट्रीज. जगह अपने पास बहुत सारी है एंड द डिपार्टमेंट हैज़ बीन वेरी वेरी एक्टिव टू हैव मोर देन 75 फॉरेस्ट्स ऑलरेडी. और इसको अगर रैम्पेंट तरीके से किया जाए, स्पेशली यूजिंग जापानीज टेक्निक्स एंड अदर टेक्निक्स वेयर कम जगह में बहुत ज़्यादा पेड़ उगाए जा सकते हैं. सो आई थिंक इट्स नॉट फार कि बड़ौदा में पॉपुलेशन से ज़्यादा ट्रीज बन जाए. स्पेसिफिकली जो कमिश्नर साहब सुबह बोल रहे थे नर्मदा केनाल के अलॉन्ग. सो आई थिंक दैट पायलट विच यू इनिशिएटेड सर शुड बी अ path breaking for the entire country. These are my 5 good observations.
Thank you, Shreya. These are advice not only for the high-speed rail project but for the whole city. So thanks for this very generic advice on how we can create much more sustainable city. It's late. These panels have really gone for long, but I really appreciate and thank everyone. Before I hand over the mic to Akshay ji, I really find it fascinating to see so much talent in Baroda. I think what is very important is to be consistent, to keep doing this, and I hope that something interesting can emerge. Now, if I can request the chair, Akshay ji, to summarize and please say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Pratyush. Thank you so much for moderating in an excellent manner. Thank you all the panelists who have graced the occasion. Your valuable insights will definitely help us in future for planning a better city in a regional framework manner. The first session was mostly related to sharing experiences from other countries. Japanese delegates have shared their experiences. We were very much focused on the HSR corridor area. This session was related to more about area development, and that's where VUDA comes into picture. I, as a CEO of VUDA, and my colleague here, Senior Town Planner, we have resolved ourselves to build a better plan for the future, and that also includes the HSR corridor development. like our panelist has mentioned, conceptualization is the basic stage. So you cannot go wrong in the conceptualization part, and that's where VUDA is working right now. My co-panelist Mayank Bhai has suggested the DP that has been going on since 2022. The plan is still being prepared. I would like to assure him that we are in like final stages of the development of the DP, and we are speeding up, and it's in the final process, and we'll definitely get it done very quickly. I would like to thank my colleague here, Mr. Sant Pandya. He had briefed the panelists as well as the audience about the ring road plan as well as the other brownfield projects that are going on here in our VUDA area. I would also like to thank Shashwat ji. Your comments regarding regional planning framework is definitely suggestive of for us to go ahead in a regional framework. And VUDA and VMC together, as well as the public and all the stakeholders, we should all sit together and we should all move forward and plan in a single manner and in a consolidated manner. Samir ji talked about that we should not work in silos, and VMC is doing exactly that under the guidance of our Commissioner, sir. The HSR corridor is being envisioned as part of multimodal integration. We are trying to get together all the stakeholders, whether it is railways, whether it is GSRTC or VMC for that matter, as well as VUDA for regional development matter. So that thing is being taken care of. I would like to thank Ajay ji. His perspective regarding future of industry is definitely very interesting. Any kind of planning must take future into its planning framework, because we are not planning for today, we are planning for the future. In VUDA, since VUDA that is today will be VMC tomorrow. So whatever works are going on, whatever water projects, drainage projects are being taken up, they are being taken up keeping in mind the future of the city. So that is an interesting perspective that Ajay ji has given us. Mayank Bhai has told us and given us some task from the perspective of CREDAI. I would like to thank Shreya ji regarding her remarks about green development. Government of Gujarat is very much focused on urban greening right now. We have been given a target of 25 million trees this year, and we are proud to work along with you and along with industry in this particular aspect. Tomorrow, most likely, we will be inaugurating our canal plantation project. So that the greenery should be, because along with being economically vibrant as well as livable, it should be a sustainable city, and ultimately whatever planning we are doing and whatever projects that we are taking, it's for the ultimate benefit of people, and the people of city, whether from the perspective of economy or from the perspective of personal leisure or tourism purpose, it should be a livable and should be an enjoyable city. So that is our goal as well. And as part of VMC, myself, as well as part of VUDA, we have noted your suggestions. We like to thank you again for your valuable inputs. And if there are any questions or suggestions, we'd like to take up, and other suggestions, other stakeholders or participants here who are sitting here, they may like to give. The floor is open. So I think it's very late now. So if there are no suggestions or questions, we would like to close the session, right? Okay.
Thank you, sir. Can we have a huge round of applause for the moderator, for the chair, distinguished panelists, for such an enriching and insightful session. Now, as a token of appreciation, we would like to felicitate all the panelists, whoever has made this session so interesting. May I please request Honorable Mayor Geetaben Makwana to come up on the stage to felicitate Ajay Ranka, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause? can we have Standing Committee Chairman Varsha Ben Vyas to come up on the stage to felicitate Shashwat sir. A huge round of applause, please. May I please request Leader of Ruling Party Shweta Ben Machi to come up on the stage to felicitate Pratyush Shankar sir, please. Ladies and gentlemen, please be generous with your applause. May I please request Deputy Municipal Commissioner V.M. Rajput sir to come up on the stage to felicitate Mayank Patel sir. May I please request Haritama Sharma sir to please come on the stage to felicitate Shreya Dalwadi ma'am, please. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause. May I please request Kaushik Parmar sir to come up and felicitate Sameer Khera sir. May I please request Bharat Rana sir to come up and felicitate Sant Pandya sir, please. Requesting Manish Bhatt sir to come up on the stage to felicitate Akshay Badania sir. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please hear a huge round of applause for all the panelists and speakers. Requesting all the panelists to please have a group picture. Again, can we have a huge round of applause to them? Along with Team BNC, the consultants who have made this event success, we want to felicitate them and appreciate their hard work. So may I please call upon Pratyush Patangar sir to felicitate Alisha Khan. Dharmesh Rana sir to felicitate Lokesh Kumawat. Sir, please. May I please request Jignesh Goyal sir to come up to felicitate Lokesh Kumawat sir, please. Calling upon Anup Prajapati sir to felicitate Niket Dalal sir. Ladies and gentlemen, keep your applause going. Requesting Hetal Patel to come up on the stage to felicitate Ria Malik. Swapnil Shukla to come up on the stage to felicitate Sandeep Khasnavis. Can we have a huge round of applause, please? Calling upon Jitendra Brahmbhaj to felicitate Soumya Mehta. A huge round of applause for all of them. With everyone's hard work, the conclusion of today's session of Vibrant Gujarat Regional Conference 2026. On the behalf of the organizers, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished dignitaries, esteemed speakers, respected panelists, delegates, industry leaders, representatives from academia and every participant. Requesting all the officers to please come up for a group picture. Requesting all the officers to please come up for a group picture. Requesting all the license officers to also stay back for a group picture. Everyone's hard work has made this event such a big success. The discussions, the collaborations witnessed today affirm a shared commitment. Calling upon all the license officers for a group picture. So, everyone, can you come near the stage, all the license officers?
લાયઝન ઓફિસર તરીકે જેટલાએ ફરજ બજાવી છે એમને બી ગ્રુપ પિક્ચર લેવા માટે તમામે આ ગ્રુપ ફોટો પછી સ્ટેજ પર આવવા વિનંતી છે.
Again, to each and everyone who are present here, thank you for being such a wonderful audience. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. This was your host, Anchor Meghna Soni. Thank you and Jai Hind. લાયઝન ઓફિસર્સ ઉપર આવી જાય પ્લીઝ.